The following is a special presentation of CBS Radio Sports in stereo where available.
All right, let's go motion. Double wing right, tight end 93. All right, on three. Ready? Ready. 390.
From CBS Radio Sports, this is the National Football League. Hello, everybody. I'm Brent Musburger with Jack Buck, Hank Stram, Will McDonough, and Jim Hunter. And today from the Superdome in New Orleans, it's Super Bowl 24 as the NFC champion San Francisco 49ers battle the AFC champion Denver Broncos. Today's Super Bowl broadcast on CBS Radio is sponsored by Budweiser, by Hewlett-Packard Laser Jet Printers, by Tegrin Medicated Shampoo, by Isuzu, and by Transamerica.
When you need to know, News Talk 590 KLBJ AM Austin.
It's only fitting that two teams with the best records in their respective conferences come together for Super Bowl 24. The San Francisco 49ers 16-2 and the Denver Broncos 13-5. You know, ultimately, defense wins these Super Bowl championships, but to get here, you need a hot quarterback, and today, two of the finest square off.
Elway's in the shotgun. He handles the low snap. Here comes Clay Matthews. Elway gets the ball away. Michael Young makes the grab at the 30. He's to the 20. He's to the 10. He high steps it in for a touchdown for the Broncos.
2nd and 8. Montana to throw. He throws end zone wide open. Caught, touchdown. Brent Jones, the tight end.
First and goal from the 5. Two receivers to the left. Dropping back is Elway. Floating the ball into the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown, Orson Mobley. Touchdown, Denver.
Here's first and goal at the 18. 49ers have no timeouts remaining. Montana can't afford to be sacked. He's back to throw. He sets up and throws. End zone. Touchdown! Touchdown to Taylor. What a player Joe Montana is. What a player.
Jim Nantz and Jack Buck with the calls as the Broncos and the 49ers won conference titles. We will continue along the road to Super Bowl 24 in just a moment.
Apple Dodge is in the final stages of their 1989 model closeout sale with rebates of $300 to $2,500 on select models. And that means some great deals for you, like an 89 Dodge Colt for $59.88 plus TT&L, or an 89 Dodge Ram D50 pickup for $69.88 plus TT&L. Austin, you've paid too much too long. Don't miss the 89 model closeout sale going on right now at Apple Dodge, IH-35 South, just past Ben White. Sales price with rebate assigned to dealer.
It happened just like this. They were hooking up my new gas dryer, and Darlene gets all uppity and tells me her dryer's electric. And I said, Darlene, maybe you ought to switch to Southern Union Gas and cut back on your expenses, because you are certainly no bank president. And she says, well, maybe not, but I'm a woodchuck den mother.
Of all the utilities in your home, nothing gives you fluffier clothes for a lower cost than natural gas from Southern Union Gas.
Now, I said, fine. Then how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Well, she looked at me like I had lost my mind. I mean, we were talking simple arithmetic, okay?
Now, Denver has a brand new defensive system, and Coach George Seifert, what are your impressions, having watched all that film now, of the Broncos defense?
It's a different style. When Joe Collier was there were a number of different fronts that we had to contend with, whereas now the Denver defense is more basic in their alignment. In fact, from what I understand, they've given the fewest number of points of any team in the league. So they've got their defensive secondary is playing very good intensity. They have big safeties, which can attack the wide receivers, which is something that we've always believed in, and I think it's something that we're going to have to contend with in the ballgame.
4 common opponents, and all 4 of the head coaches of the teams that played both you and the Broncos said that you were the superior team and you would win. Did you take a special effort as a staff to go back and look at how the Broncos played against the Giants and the Eagles and the Colts and the Bills?
I can't say we made any special effort along those lines. Again, it's something that we just have to go into this ball game focused on this particular ball game. As we've talked as a team each week, we said we just want to be the best club on the given Sunday or game day. And that's how we have to approach this ball game in no other fashion.
You know, so much has been made about the fact that you're replacing Bill Walsh. Here you are, a rookie head coach, and you wind up in the Super Bowl. Yet in watching you and how you've handled big post-game news conference and that, there's a great calmness with you. It's like all your life you had been studying how to be a head coach in this league. It is not throwing you off at all.
Well, I don't know if necessarily that I've studied that. I think that the 12 years that I worked with Bill Walsh, has certainly prepared me for the situation. And the success that this club's had over the years, I've had an opportunity to be a part of that. We have a great football team and some outstanding players. We have a tremendous owner, and the resources are there. And it's just a matter of seeing to that the pieces are together and that we put everybody in a position whereby they can be successful.
Is there anything you don't enjoy about moving from defensive coordinator where you call the shots for every play into the top guy?
No, I've come to adapt to this particular situation. I say I did enjoy the specifics of being the defensive coordinator, and yet at the same time, I've developed more of a comfort zone, so to speak. I shouldn't say comfort zone, but I'm more comfortable now in this present position.
Bill used to make a big thing out of scripting the first couple of dozen plays, I guess, for a ball game. Does the staff still do that for the 49ers?
Oh, yes, we script actually the first 15 plays, and we get together with the offensive staff and Mike Holmgren. And, it goes quite well. I think it's an opportunity for our players to focus on specific plays the night before a ball game and then think about those plays and enables them to perform much better during the ball game.
Coach, one player in particular can make a huge difference in this game, and that, of course, is John Elway. Your impressions and descriptions of him?
Well, I've been impressed with John for a long time. I was coaching at Stanford when John was recruited there. He's a great athlete, great running ability, great arm strength. And he has the ability in the critical time of a ball game to come up with a big play, and that's something we're going to have to guard against. He's done it to us in the past. We do everything we can to prevent that, obviously, but it's something up to this point we haven't been successful with.
Coach, finally, should we look for a low-scoring game or a high-scoring game?
The coach is the last one to predict something like that. I was asked the ball games prior to this one, and there's no way I could have predicted. It's going to be a hard-fought game, though, I'll guarantee you that, and two teams that certainly want to win. Denver has an outstanding club. We feel that we do, and the two teams that should be here are here, and it should be a wild one.
Only one rookie coach has ever won a Super Bowl, Don McCafferty, with the 1970 Colts, as Baltimore defeated the Dallas Cowboys 16-13 in Super Bowl V. We're going to check in with Jim Hunter on the two quarterbacks, but right now, let's pause for this word.
You talk football lineman. My guy Buster Bruiser's the best. He's strong. Buster putting on the cheerleaders.
Oh, sorry, Coach.
And he's active. About the only thing Buster takes time out for.
Time out!
Is Campbell's Chunky Soup. Chunky has delicious chunks of lean meat and garden vegetables, and it's quick to satisfy.
Delicious.
So Buster can pick up right where he left off. Buster putting on the band.
Campbell's Chunky Soup, the satisfying stop that keeps you going.
Here's Tom Landry.
The question keeps popping up. How do I feel about being out of football? Great. Now I can travel and get a 30% senior citizen discount at a quality Comfort, Clarion, or Sleep Hotel. Maybe I'll start a new career. Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be Redskins.
Seniors save 30% by calling 800-221-2222. 30-day advance purchase required. Restrictions apply.
Didn't think I was going to say Cowboys, did you?
Well, the two players who were in the spotlight all week long were the quarterbacks, Joe Montana of the 49ers, John Elway of the Broncos. Both were also involved in controversies this week. Let's go down to the sidelines now and get more from Jim Hunter.
Well, Brent, as the Super Bowl week wore on, Joe Montana and John Elway thought their biggest concerns would be standing up to the questions about their Super Bowl results. Joe Montana is 3-0. The question for him, can he keep it going? John Elway is 0 for 2. Then the question for him, can he finally win one? But Elway first got involved in a little spat with former Steelers quarterback Terry Bradshaw. Bradshaw apparently questioned Elway's mental toughness critical in these high-pressure games. Elway says Bradshaw is simply jealous of the salary he makes, and if he doesn't like it, he can stick it in his ear. Montana, though, he wishes his problem was just a verbal spat like Elway's when that Washington television report came out claiming that 3 white NFL quarterbacks tested positive for drugs in the past 4 years and weren't required to seek treatment. Montana was thrown right into the controversy because he allegedly is one of the quarterbacks on that list. Well, needless to say, Montana denies the charge as well as the validity of the report.
playoff, and it's kind of absurd, but you always feel bad when the line happens at this time. But that's part of it, and people are always looking for things. And the bad part is I know that the Boston is hard to, there's nothing you can do about it. So I got to go on and get ready to play again.
Play a game he has played better than anyone. Montana was the NFL's MVP this year. He had 26 touchdown passes, just 8 interceptions, and in the playoffs he's been even better. 6 touchdowns and no interceptions. Elway has been pretty good also after a so-so regular season. Elway has 4 touchdowns, just 1 interception in the playoffs. But can he raise his game to another level here this afternoon?
Well, I hope I can take it to that level, because if I do, I think that we can win. And I think that, with the type of team that the 49ers are, and that's a great football team, that we're going to have to play our best football game of the year. But we also know that the potential's there. And I'm looking to have the greatest game that I've ever had, and because you like to have in these type games.
And Elway thinks the Broncos are peaking at the right time, having played their best all-around football in their 2 playoff victories. Joe, what about the 49ers?
I hope we peak today. It's one of those things where Ronnie's been talking about all week, is that we can't let ourselves be lulled to sleep because people are saying we should be winning this game, where in the last couple games they thought we were going to win, but we knew we were in for a dogfight, and just like we are today. And even though internally we feel that way, we can't let the outside influences say, look, you're going to win, or let's take it easy. We still have to feel the same as we felt the last 2.
Well, the 49ers certainly have the pressure. They're not only expected to win, but win big. A similar scenario, you might remember to Super Bowl III. The Colts were supposed to go in and dismantle the Jets, but Joe Namath had other ideas. John, can you become the Joe Namath of 1990?
I tell you what, I'm not ready to guarantee one yet, but I think that everyone on this football team realizes that, hey, yeah, we got a shot, and that the second to Joe Willie, maybe this will be the second greatest upset of all time in Super Bowl history.
Well, if John Elway is going to pull it off, he's going to have to be the man. Let's tell you about the warm-ups. Elway had his arm. In fact, he looked almost too strong. The Broncos, after being very loose all week, they were somewhat tense as they warmed up. The 49ers were the exact opposite. They've been here before. They were calm, and Brent, Joe Montana's passes were right on.
All right, Jim, thank you. And let's pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS Radio Network.
Award-winning local news, CBS News and Sports. Only on News Talk 590 KLBJ AM Austin.
Well, coming up now, we have Super Bowl 24 between the San Francisco 49ers and the Denver Broncos. We're going to hear from Bronco coach Dan Reeves when we come back in just a moment.
What's the name of your bank this week? Well, if you bank at Bank of the Hills, it's the same as it's been for almost 18 years. At Bank of the Hills, we're still going and we're still growing. We're not cutting back, we're adding on. Now 3 locations, the high-rise at 13809 Research, Cedar Park, and now downtown at 4th and Congress. What's the secret? Caring about people in an old-fashioned way, keeping your money here in Austin, down home banking. Step up to the Bank of the Hills.
Save up to 60% now during the most incredible sale in Eagle's history. Eagle has moved excess inventory from their 15 Houston and Dallas stores to Austin for a tremendous clear-away sale. Thousands and thousands of suits and sport coats drastically reduced. Suits as low as $88. All-wool tropical suits for $129. Blazers from $58. Thousands of shirts and ties, half off and more. Don't miss your chance to save up to 60% on famous label menswear during Eagle's clear-away sale. Lamar in 183.
Something for Denver Bronco fans to remember. The 2 biggest underdogs in Super Bowl history, the New York Jets in 3 and the Kansas City Chiefs in 4, both came away with outright victories. Now, a lot of folks say the Broncos don't belong on the same field today with San Francisco, that they have no shot to win. Coach Dan Reeves, I would think you've got to like this spot with the 49ers expected to win and win decisively.
Well, I think you like that spot. I don't like what I've seen on the film of the 49ers. They are playing outstanding football. I don't know that there's been any team in recent years that's gone in as hot as they are right now. So we realize we have a tremendous task, but you don't go into games without knowing that you have a chance to win the game. And our team has played very well all year. We lost 5 games, but even within the 5 games that we lost, we had a chance to win all 5 of them. So this team has competed well week in and week out, and I don't see that that's going to be any different. But we do realize that we've got to play as well as we possibly can to try to turn this momentum that the 49ers have going for them right now.
And a lot of theories have been offered about the AFC-NFC rivalry. 5 straight Super Bowls the NFC has dominated. Do you have any ideas or any theories about, because during the regular season you play them equal footing, it seems like, but come the Super Bowl time and it gets pretty one-sided?
Well, I think all Super Bowls have the possibility, much more so than the regular season or even the playoff games, of having that happen because of the 2 weeks. I do think that does give one team or another the possibility of having the one-sided games that we have, because that's doing something differently than what you've done all year. You know, so it's really not a good test of seeing who was the best team, you know, during the past season. So I do think it's a possibility. We've been a part of those blowouts. Now, against the New York Giants, we had played the Giants that year in New York, and they beat us on a field goal right at the end of the game and had to overcome a 3rd and 20-something yards to go on that drive to win the game. We had played the Washington Redskins the year before and had beaten them in Denver in a game that was a very high-scoring game, but we had come out on top. So I felt good about both of those games. You know, I felt we had a chance against both of them. All of a sudden we get into the Super Bowl, and you know, they do get very one-sided real quick. And both of those games we had opportunities offensively and didn't take advantage of them. And they came back, and whether it was in the second half with the Giants or the second quarter with the Redskins, just completely dominated us and got the game out of hand. We played the 49ers well in the past, so you know, we feel good about our chances going in this game, but we do realize if we don't play well that they are the type of team that if you make mistakes, they have that opportunity of making it one-sided. So we are going into it with the idea, hey, we got to play the best game we played all year.
And, you know, it seems that the media comes back to saying that John Elway's got to play the greatest game in the history of football, or since Joe Namath, to win this one. I find that a little bit too simplistic, you know, saying that one man's going to go out and win a football game, and I'm sure you do too from a coaching standpoint.
Well, first of all, John Elway, you know, we've had success since John has been with us in Denver, and there's no question that he's a big reason for that, because he gives your team the confidence that, hey, we can be in any game. Your defense plays harder, your offense plays harder. There's no question that John is a big part of that. But to say that John has to play the greatest game of his life for us to win, I don't agree with that. I do think that our offense has got to play better than we played all year, because the only way we're going to slow Joe Montana and their offense down is to at least match them and keep their offense from having the ball, you know, 3/4 of the game.
The only time that you were upset, somebody told me, after the Cleveland game, was when someone mentioned that the fans in Denver, at least some of them, might not have wanted that. They didn't want to go back to the Super Bowl and wind up with a 4th loss. And somebody said Dan did not like that question or anybody bringing that up.
Well, I really don't like the question, because I think it was something that, I mean, when you think about it, somebody had to ask that question sometime. Who asked it? You know, somebody had to walk up to a fan and say, look, you know, do you think the Broncos should lose this game, or would you rather them go, you know, to the Super Bowl and get them humiliated again? Well, what's going to be your answer? They're going to say, well, go ahead and lose this game. We don't want them to be humiliated. But if you ask a fan, you know, do you want them to win the game and go down and have a chance to be world champions, I think everybody would say, yeah, we'd like for them to win and have a chance to be world champions. You know, it's like Chariots of Fire. You know, the guy said, well, I'm not going to run if I can't win. The guy said, well, you can't win if you don't run. So we're here, we're going to take our chances, and we feel like we've got a chance, and we're certainly going to give it everything we got. And I know the fans that I've seen back in Denver, Colorado, were extremely happy. I mean, after the game, we went out, and our players took a run around the field, and our fans were extremely excited about the possibility of us playing the 49ers in the Super Bowl.
And in Denver's 3 previous trips to the Super Bowl, they have scored a total of only 40 points, or an average of 13 points a game. Now, looking at San Francisco's offensive production, in their 3 victories this decade, they have scored 84 points, an average of 26 points. That's 13 points better than the Broncos. And right now, let's pause for this word.
How did I get my job? I used a tank. You see, I was a tank crewman in the Army, and I learned things that are really valuable to me in my career. Things like handling responsibility and working with people, which is exactly what my boss wanted. He said, why hire someone you have to teach to do a good job when you can have someone who already knows how? Get an edge on your career. Call 1-800-USA-ARMY. Paid for by the U.S. Army.
Monday, on an all-new alien nation, a mysterious artifact from a world 3 billion miles away holds an ancient secret.
I heard rumors of this box on a ship, but it had tremendous power.
For some, it holds untold wonders. For others, it is their last temptation.
If you open it, you will die!
Prepare to experience the unknown. Alien Nation, right after 21 Jump Street, Monday on Fox.
The San Francisco 49ers are being introduced to the crowd here at the Louisiana Superdome. The offensive unit of the 49ers, Jerry Rice, just trotted onto the field. And joining me, Mike Ditka and Dick Butkus. And Mike, I know, as head coach of the Chicago Bears, you dueled the San Francisco 49ers, both successfully and unsuccessfully the last few years. What makes this team so potent? They come back and try to win back-to-back Vince Lombardi trophies today.
Well, I think everybody wants to praise their offense, and I think that's right, Brent, because their offense is an outstanding offense. But really, a lot of the credit has to go to the way they play defense. They put pressure on you from the first play of the game. They keep it up in your face. They make you play different than you want to play. I think Ronnie Lott is the guy, the trigger man on defense. He's the hit man. He's the guy that makes it work back there.
Dick, certainly when we were in San Francisco for their 2 playoff victories over both Minnesota and Los Angeles, it was, as Mike pointed out, the defense which did the job.
Well, and when they do that, it just seems the other team just completely loses faith or whatever. I mean, they can strike you so fast that, boy, they just get you down, depressed. You don't know what the heck to do because they're so potent. And I agree, the defense is going to be tested today. Denver's got to throw some 4 receivers out there and do different things and make it happen. And the thing about the 49ers, they've got patience, and they'll be able to adapt, I think, no matter what Denver does.
Well, the Denver Broncos are pouring out on the field, and prior introduction of their players in just a short time ago on our television counterpart, Mike Ditka, made a bold prediction that the Denver Broncos were going to come in here today and win. And Mike, I must point out that amongst the coaches that we've talked to and everything, you really are sort of the lone soldier. Everyone really likes the 49ers.
Well, that's why they're trying to get me out of this business. I mean, everybody in Chicago is, everybody in the league is, the officials, I don't even, maybe even my own owner, I don't know, but I'm going to make the prediction. I'm going to stay with it. And I'm going to look at it this way. If I'm right, another genius has been born. And if I'm wrong, I'm still a coach.
You're right. A lot of folks are going to be hiding from you tonight because I know, Dick, your feeling coming into this game, anyhow, we haven't talked in the last couple of days, but coming in, you said you thought San Francisco was going to be too strong.
I think so. I think they've got besides the players and all the cerebral things, what they do is, like Mike just said with Lott, they all hit. They got Matt Millen, an old crusty veteran there, and they're going to hit people. And if the Broncos can do the same, well, okay, it'll be close. But I think the 49ers will be able to adapt whatever happens and just make some good hard tackling and good hard blocks, and they should do it.
All right, we're going to continue with our pregame activities live from the Louisiana Superdome in just a moment.
Oh, won't you come dine at Bailey's? Good time, food and drink. Sorry, but due to overwhelming popular demand, I will not be singing the Bailey song. So, guest starring from the Bakehouse Restaurant, my wife.
Oh, won't you come dine at Bailey's? Good time, food and drink. We're here on North Lamar. We'll do the cooking for you both noon and night. Cocktails and race cars at our bar. 90 items on the menu, something for all. Dinner until midnight, just think. You'll be so glad you came, so remember our name. That's Bailey's Good Time Food and Drink.
Great, honey. Thanks a lot. See you later. Okay. So she can't sing either. But we like the Bailey song because it tells about Bailey's. On weekends, we serve brunch both Sunday and Saturday till 3:30. Egg specialties, champagne, strawberry bread, the list goes on and on.
What do you mean I can't sing?
Uh-oh.
Feelings, nothing more
Bailey's,
than
6519
feelings.
North Lamar.
Well, we're back live just prior to the kickoff between San Francisco and Denver, and we're joined by a former great quarterback with the San Diego Chargers, Dan Fouts. And Dan, as you have looked down and watched the pregame preparations and everything, what's your feeling now leading up to the Super Bowl?
You know, it always amazes me to watch the players as they come out on the field. It's as if they're walking on air. And the 49ers really appear to be sky high, especially 2 guys, Montana and Roger Craig.
And those were two guys that if you're in the Denver Bronco jersey, you hate to see them sky high.
Well, and what it does for the 49ers is those are the guys that everybody else on the football team's looking to carry the ball club. And they have given an indication that they're ready for this game.
Dan, as a quarterback coming into a big game, how do you relieve the butterflies early?
Well, you really don't. I don't think you get over them. The key to it is to get over them as soon as possible while the game is on. And the best thing for a quarterback to do, as Montana seems to be able to do, is to complete that first pass and get some points on the board early.
Mike, what about a coach coming into a big game like this? Were you nervous? You won your Super Bowl right here a couple years ago.
I wasn't nervous, and I said for the reasons I had mentioned earlier. We had played so well on the defensive side of the ball, I just didn't think anybody could score against us. But I think both of these coaches feel the same way. Seifert has prepared his football team well all year, Brent, and they're going to be ready for the game. And I know, being a personal friend of Dan and talking to him last night, that they're ready to play. He thinks they're going to play their best game of the season. I probably will take their best game of the season to win, but I pick them to win.
All right, well, the Broncos have been introduced here, along with the 49ers. Dick, you're a former great linebacker. I got to tell you, in a big game like this, I really always give the defensive players the edge. They can take out their frustrations when the game starts.
That's right. You know, and we were talking all during the playoffs, the defense, and all of a sudden the offense were popping up. And I think that's what happened with the Vikings and the Rams. They really didn't play tough, crisp football on the defensive side of the ball. Hopefully, if the Denver Broncos can do the same, it'll be a game. You're talking about a lot of material over there on the 49ers side. And not to discount the Broncos. They have some people. It's just that, the 49ers right now, everybody thinks they can walk on water.
You know, it's sort of interesting. We're playing this game on artificial carpet. And Mike, of course, you took up the carpet at Soldier Field and went to natural grass. These are the only two teams this year in the NFL that were unbeaten on a rug. I don't know what to make out of that. Is there a lot of difference when you play on grass or a carpet?
Well, I think the reason that these two teams were undefeated on an artificial field is the fact that they're also the two best teams in football. They have the best records in football. So I just think that's a carryover to the fact that they are the two best teams in football. I don't think, I would say one thing. The 49ers seem to be a little more of a speed team, and I think, this will emphasize their speed a little bit more. But the Broncos, they didn't win a lottery to get here, so they're a pretty good football team.
Yeah, backing up what Mike says, during the year, Joe Montana was 3-0. The team was 5-0. He missed 2 of the games on artificial turf. But listen to Joe's stats, folks, on a carpet. 9 touchdown passes, only 1 interception. 4 of his 9 scores were in excess of 50 yards. So, Dick, without a doubt, the 49ers have got that speed on the outside.
Okay, and that's what happens. Everybody knows that they throw these slants, 5, 7, 9, 12, 15-yard slants. They get Rice or Taylor the ball, and then, boy, it's Katie by the door if you don't have your defensive back making some tackles. I see Mecklenburg and the rest of the linebackers really trying to help out on that slot play and don't let them sneak across. Someone latch onto those people. And the speed has to go with the 49ers.
Yeah, and the safeties of the Broncos, they have been the subject, Mike, of a lot of talk and discussion because one of them is a rookie. He's a fine-looking rookie, Steve Atwater, but I know a lot of folks are wondering whether or not he's going to be able to hold up here against a veteran like Joe Montana. And, of course, that will all unfold here in the next 3 to 3.5 hours when Super Bowl 24 finally gets played. The 49ers started out the week anywhere from 12 to a 12.5-point favorite, and it has pretty much stayed that way all along. That seems like a very, very high number when you consider how successful the Broncos have been as a team in this decade against the 49ers. They are 3-0, as a matter of fact, since the 80s began. And now, to honor America, we're going to go down on the field, and we're going to pick up our national anthem. And we will join the celebrated singer, Aaron Neville, as he comes out on the field. And there is a replica of the top part of the Statue of Liberty at the 50-yard line. So let's now go down to the field. moments away from the opening kickoff of this Super Bowl. We're going to join Jack Buck and Hank Stram, but right now let's pause for this word.
I feel much better. I must say that I find I have more energy, and I find that I wake up in the morning feeling like I want to wake up.
Can breathe when I get up in the morning. I used to have such a heavy feeling on my chest every morning. I find it easier to walk up the hill. I don't get as breathless as I used to.
I don't miss it at all. I'm delighted I don't smoke.
I feel great. A lot less coughing and a lot safer feeling, too.
Some people have stopped smoking cigarettes, and some people still do.
I smoke mainly out of habit.
It was the thing to do. You know, it made you a big shot.
I have no good reason for smoking. I guess I smoke to relax myself. This gives me something to do with my hands and to blow smoke rings and that sort of thing.
You don't have to apologize. Cigarette smoking won't just embarrass you. It could kill you. This message is paid for by the Martin Himmel Health Foundation, 450 Park Avenue, New York 10022. We welcome your participation.
Well, it was a great show here, a pregame show. Another one going to be coming up at halftime. The players are just getting ready now, and we'll be going down to the center of the field for the coin toss. But let's send it over now to our colleagues, Jack Buck and Hank Stram. Jack?
Thank you, Brent. That was a very impressive pregame ceremony with Aaron Neville singing our national anthem. And what do you think of this week of preparation in this your now hometown, Hank Stram?
Jack, I think it's been very good. I think Denver, being the underdog that they have been, I think they handled that situation extremely well. They kind of laughed about it. They didn't talk about it too much. But worrying about that, Jack, is like sitting in a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it doesn't get you any place, and that's exactly the attitude they have taken. On the other hand, I think the 49ers, during the course of the week, felt like I had the feeling they were in the comfort zone, and all of a sudden that scandalous thing came out about the quarterbacks and Joe Montana. I think it woke them up a little bit, and I think for that reason they're going to be a little bit more motivated than they might have been had that not happened.
Last year's Hall of Fame inductees will be a part of the coin toss ceremony to be conducted by Dick Jorgensen, who is the first-time referee in a Super Bowl. He's from Champaign, Illinois, and he was tickled about this assignment here, and it reminds me to ask you, Hank, about Buck Buchanan. He finally got elected to the Hall of Fame, your former player.
And very deserving. I talked to Buck this morning. He was ecstatic. I talked to Georgia, his wonderful wife. They were just ecstatic about the honor that was bestowed upon them yesterday. Looking forward to seeing him at the Pro Bowl next week. And but we're all very, very proud of Buck. And no, he's most deserving for that award.
A wonderful class of inductees for August 4th in Canton, Ohio, including Tom Landry and the players who were elected yesterday. And Bob Greasy had to wait for a long while, finally got in. Let's go down to Dick Jorgensen. He's the referee.
This side is heads. This side is tails. This side is heads. This side is tails. Denver, who will be your spokesman? 54 will be the spokesman. Mr. Montana, would you please call the toss in the air?
The 49ers are the visiting team here this afternoon.
Will you represent your fellow inductees into the Hall of Fame and toss the coin?
That's Willie Wood, long time with the Green Bay Packers, tossing the coin.
Tails is called.
Give it a nice high toss.
Heads it is.
Well, we'll get an early look, Hank. Denver probably will take the football. And we'll see if these Broncos can move it against the 49ers. Denver will receive. One thing we do know, Hank, going in, and that is that the 49ers will be able to move the football. I think the big question is, can the Broncos move the football?
And I think initially, I think the Denver Broncos will start the game throwing the football and will gradually try to run the ball. I think they'll do a lot of things to try to get big plays, and especially early in this game.
Now we can tell the folks that at the nose guard position on defense for San Francisco, it's going to be Jim Byrd and Michael Carter splitting that position, and Pete Kugler, who's been playing there, will play the end position. So that's something else the Broncos are going to have to contend with at the outset.
I don't think Kugler is as big as you'd like for him to be as a nose man. He's very quick, and being outside in space will be much, much better for him.
And so Mike Cofer of the San Francisco 49ers will be the first to touch the ball. He'll kick it off. And Ken Bell will be deep along with Darren Carrington. And this Denver team has not done very well with their special teams with regard to returning kicks for long yards and no touchdowns all year on their kick return. So Cofer will kick off from our right to our left from the 35-yard line. And these special teams of the 49ers have to be given the edge over the special teams of the Broncos.
I think in this area, I don't think they get the edge in the kicking game, though, Jack. I think the punters and place kickers get the edge for Denver.
That's the one big advantage that most people concede to the Broncos in the punting and in the place kicking. And let's see what happens as Super Bowl 24 unfolds here at the Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. Well, that's one word, isn't it? Nolans. Nolans, Louisiana. And this big crowd, 72,000 on their feet. There's the kick. It's a line drive kick. And it's going to be taken by Bell, 1 yard deep in the end zone, runs left to the 15, 20-yard line. Almost got outside, but was knocked down at about the 23. Bell came very close to getting big yards, and Steve Hendrickson, the rookie linebacker, made the tackle for San Francisco, a 24-yard return. So the Denver Broncos, Elway and company, will start from their 24-yard line. He will have Bobby Humphrey in the backfield with him. His wide receivers are Vance Johnson and Mark Jackson. They start with 3 wide receivers, and Johnson is in a slot. The lone running back is Humphrey, and under center Elway, a first down pass. He looks outside, throws outside, underthrew his man, the pass incomplete. He tried to get it out to Mark Jackson, who's been a hot receiver in the last couple of weeks. And he was throwing the ball out for first down yardage out to the 34, and Elway is 0 for 1, and that was not a very good throw.
No, it wasn't, but right off the bat, you know they're going to go after Darryl Pollard, the left quarterback who hasn't played that well. He had him beaten on the play, except he just threw the ball poorly. But that's where they're going to try to do business as much as they possibly can.
Now Johnson prances off to the left, Jackson to the right. And in the backfield is Melvin Bratton along with Humphrey. Here's a second down fake running play. Pass way away over the middle and incomplete. He threw behind his receiver, and he is 0 for 2. And Mark Jackson again was the intended receiver, and he was wide open, Hank. And Elway has not made good throws.
But there was a crash up front. Linemen pulling in opposite directions. There was a train wreck, and they got good pressure. Elway had to throw the ball running to his left a lot sooner than he actually wanted to.
So it's 3rd and 10 from the 24, and misfiring on this one, they'll have to give the ball to San Francisco. Eric Wright checks in defensively. 6 defensive backs, including Tim McIyer. Shotgun formation for Elway on 3rd and 10. 4 wide receivers, including Michael Young. Back to throw, steps up, pressure, runs with the ball, knocked down at the line of scrimmage, and the Broncos will have to punt. He almost got out of the pocket, but Kevin Fagan tripped him up by 1 foot. It's a 1-yard gain and a Denver punt coming up.
That's the great thing about Denver, Jack. They can get a lot of pressure with just 4 people. They don't have to rush 5 and 6. They get it with 4, and they got great pressure on Elway that time.
So the Broncos will now punt, and the left-footed kicker, Horan, punts it. Good field position coming up. Taylor, a fair catch. Took the ball at his 35-yard line. A 41-yard punt, but good starting position for the 49ers from their own 34-yard line. So less than a minute, the Broncos had the ball, and that was far from their hopes coming into this game.
Yeah, they had to be disappointed about that. And I guarantee you right now, Jack, if I know the 49ers, they'll come right up off on the very first play, try to throw a pass to either Rice or Taylor. Kind of a short one just to get that established in their game.
Rice is to the left, Taylor to the right. Sapolo is the center, and it's Rathman and Craig in the backfield. Rice goes in motion. Here is Montana, faking and throwing over the middle, wide open and incomplete. He missed his tight end, Brent Jones. And both quarterbacks are cold here at the outset. 2nd and 10, San Francisco coming up. And the juices are flowing here, Hank. And these quarterbacks are overpumped, aren't they?
Yeah, they got the adrenaline going. And, you know, the funny thing about it was I was on the sideline when Joe Montana came out on the field. And we visited many, many times before a game. He ran right by me and didn't even know who I was.
He was transfixed. Both
both wide receivers to the left, and Terrence Flagler comes into the game along with Craig. Flagler goes in motion. Montana to Craig, running left, turns the corner, comes to the 40, 45, first down midfield, out of bounds at the 48-yard line of Denver. A toss to Craig. He sprinted outside. They cut him down, and Wyman Henderson had to make the tackle after an 18-yard pickup.
That was a counter trap play, and the defensive right end comes down the line of scrimmage with his right shoulder coming inside instead of his left shoulder, Jack. They were able to hook him and go to the outside, and that's why they made the big play.
First down at the Denver 48, and a first down call with Craig in motion. Montana under center. He's back to throw. Straight back. Rolls right. He throws. It is dropped inside the 40-yard line by Craig. A hard throw by Montana. He zipped it in between two defenders. The pass was incomplete. We have seen Montana start games where he completed his first 8, 9, 10 passes of the game, but not today. It's 2nd and 10.
You know, the other thing, Jack, the Denver Broncos look like they're playing a zone, and they do, but their linebackers, they clamp on the receivers on the backs very quickly and very tight. They don't have nearly as much room as you think they would.
Rice to the left and Taylor to the right. 2nd and 10 with Rathman and Craig in the backfield. Here is a give to Craig. Here he comes left again. Knocked down. He got only a yard or two. That's the same play that went for 18 yards earlier, but Ron Holmes, the defensive end, trailed the play and made the tackle at the 47-yard line. They move it inside there. Well, it's at the 47, making it 3rd and 8, 49ers.
That play looked like the last play, but it wasn't. It was a sweep to the tight end side. The other play was to the split inside. They had a tight end on that side. A linebacker was there. They pulled both guards, and they got good pursuit from the inside.
And there are 4 wide receivers for the 49ers, 6 defensive backs for the Broncos. Under center, Montana. 3rd and 8, straight back to throw. Pressure, screen pass. It's caught to the 45, to the 40. Craig is out of bounds, and he might have a first down. He's inside the 40 to the 38. A screen pass to Roger Craig. Steve Atwater bumped him out of bounds, and it is a first down, San Francisco.
Beautiful acting on the part of Joe Montana. You're never going to be successful with a screen pass unless you make it look like it's going to be a pass. He waited for the defensive lineman to make penetration across the line of scrimmage, and then very carefully dumped the ball off to Craig, who was finally knocked out of bounds by Atwater, number 27.
It's at the 38 of the Broncos, and a first down with Rathman Malone set back for San Francisco. Montana with another pass. Throws right on the flat. Caught inside the 30-yard line by Jerry Rice. He's driven back, but he picked up 9. A zippy pass from Joe Montana, and you can dribble already, Hank.
And the other thing, Jack, as we watch this game, I think Denver is going to try to double cover the outside receivers as much as they possibly can and say you're not going to beat us with Rice and Taylor. You're going to have to beat us with the tight end and the 2 running backs coming out of the backfield. And, of course, Joe's patient enough to do that just perfectly well.
7th play of the drive coming for the 49ers, and it's 2nd and 1 at the 29 of Denver. In motion, the tight end, Brent Jones. Here's a give to Craig, knocked down for a loss on the play. There was a big defensive play for the Denver Broncos, and it was Michael Brooks, the linebacker.
I looked at Mike Shanahan coming out of the locker room. He ran right by me again like he never saw me in his life.
We've played 3 minutes in Super Bowl 24, and it's 3rd down and 4 for the 49ers. The ball at the 32 of the Broncos. 2 running backs, Rice in motion, Montana to throw, runs out of the pocket. He gets a first down to the 25, slides down at the 22-yard line. First down, San Francisco, and we have 2 quarterbacks very capable of doing that, sprinting out of the pocket. A 10-yard pickup for Montana.
That's the great thing about Montana. Not the fact that he can just run, but he's so decisive.
And so quick.
And he makes a decision right away, sees the cavity, goes right up the seam, and makes the necessary yardage for the first down. That's why he's such a great quarterback.
11 minutes left in the scoreless first quarter of the Super Bowl game, and a first down at the 22-yard line of the Broncos for the 49ers. Montana takes the snap, and he hands it off on a delay, and the tackle is made strongly at the 20-yard line as Craig carried the ball for a 2-yard gain. And let's pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS radio network.
weather, more sports, and traffic than any station in Austin. News Talk 590, KLBJ, AM Austin.
Simon Fletcher, the linebacker, made that last tackle for the Broncos. It's 2nd and 8 for San Francisco. 49ers already within field goal range. They're at the 20-yard line. Here's the 2nd down call with Craig in motion. Montana straight back to throw. He looks one way, now throws over the middle. It's caught inside the 10. This is a touchdown to Jerry Rice, who broke a tackle at the 5, and a 20-yard touchdown play for the 49ers. And there again, the masterful touch of Montana. He almost threw it to the right sideline, held the ball, found Rice, touchdown, 49ers.
The key to the play, Jack, no pass rush whatsoever. He had all the time in the world to look at his first receiver, his second receiver, his third receiver, and then throw the ball to Rice, who was coming across in a crossing pattern. Key was the pass protection.
The game is going the way most people hoped it would not go, with the Broncos getting the ball, failing to move it, having to punt it. The 49ers got it. Here's Mike, and scored the touchdown. Mike Coper tries to add the extra point. It is good, and it's 7-0. With 10:06 remaining in the first quarter. Jerry Rice, for all you do, this punt's for you. San Francisco on top. And the Broncos had better do something with the ball when they get it this time. 7-0 49ers. Let's take time out.
At ease. Men, this outfit has a reputation for wasting money. I'd like to change that.
Sir.
Private Jones?
Isuzu was having a sale on troopers, sir.
Son, we don't buy troops, we enlist them.
Isuzu troopers, sir.
What?
The versatile vehicle that costs about $1,000 less than Jeep Cherokee, sir.
Less than Jeep? Go on, Corporal Jones.
They're an even better deal now, sir. During the Isuzu sale into the 90s, troopers could cost thousands of dollars less, sir.
Proceed, Sergeant Jones.
We could also save hundreds on rugged Isuzu pickups, sir.
Continue, Lieutenant Jones.
Sir, the more troopers and pickups we buy, the more money we could save, sir.
Interesting, Major Jones.
Sir, our savings could go into the millions, even billions of dollars.
Excellent, General Jones.
Sir, thank you, sir.
Billions of dollars. We could buy that new pipe wrench I've had my eye on.
During Isuzu's sale into the 90s, you could save thousands on troopers and pickups with generous factory cash at participating dealers on selected models. Such great deals. Bet you can't buy just one.
I'm at the Galaxy Theater, where the great Adolfo is attempting an unprecedented feat. He'll turn a Hewlett-Packard LaserJet Series 2 printer into a LaserJet nearly half the size and price. Incredible! Right before our eyes, a sleek, personal-size HP LaserJet. It's printing a message. The HP LaserJet 2P printer. A better way to get laser quality for about half the price. It's nothing short of magic.
You're sitting up here hoping for a close game, Hank. You say, uh-oh.
Yeah, you say that, but Jack, there's a long way. It's a long, long way before it's over. And anything can happen. Interesting, Joe Montana, for the entire season, Jack, has never thrown 4 incompleted passes in a row. Incredible, isn't it?
It certainly is. That was a 10-play drive, 66 yards, 3 minutes, 59 seconds. The 49ers converted on 2 third-down plays. One of them on the Montana run to the Denver 22, then the 20-yard touchdown pass to Jerry Rice. Here's Ken Bell, awaiting for the kick from Coper, and it goes to the side, and Carrington takes the ball, stumbles across the 20, and he is hit and goes out of bounds at the 26. Again, the Denver Broncos, rather deep in their own territory, started from their 24 the first time, and now they start from their own 26. Folks, if your dandruff shampoo cannot stop the itch, switch to Tegrin medicated shampoo. After all, wouldn't you rather switch than itch? Broncos at their 26. They fail to get a first down in their first possession. Jackson and Johnson come to the right. And the third wide receiver, Steve Sewell, is to the left. Humphrey in the backfield. Back to throw. Here's the little toss pass to Humphrey. Comes to the 35, 40-yard line. Midfield. Darn near broke it. First down Denver on a big play. And you knew that the 49ers were looking for that play, but they couldn't stop it. And Humphrey, on a little pitch pass from Elway, ran down to the 47 of San Francisco.
That's breaking the tendency, Jack. 49ers were not looking for that play on 1st and 10. They looked for it on third and passing situations. They crossed him up completely by doing it on 1st and 10, and that's why they got a big game.
Ronnie Lott made the tackle, and the Broncos are trying to come back and get on the board. That was a 27-yard pickup and a first down. And here is the same play and a fumble, and it is recovered by San Francisco. Same play, and Humphrey wasn't even looking for the ball. And I'd say, no, it is the Broncos who got it. They were really lucky. They tried the very same play, and Humphrey had his back to the quarterback, and weren't they fortunate, Hank?
They were lucky. You talk about dodging a bullet. They were dodging one there on that particular play.
Humphrey didn't even look. The ball hit him in the back, and they got the ball back right at the line of scrimmage. It took a bad bounce away from San Francisco. It's an incomplete pass is the call.
It was supposed to be a handoff, not a lateral, and he ran right by it and didn't even make an attempt. Elway tried to pitch it to him.
Now Elway delays the ball to Humphrey. He finds running room and lowers his head down to the 32-yard line of San Francisco and might have a first down. He ran into Keena Turner and Jet Brooks. A very good run on the draw down inside the 37-yard line of San Francisco. And they may have to measure to see if he made a first down. No, the call is that it is a first down. On the draw to Humphrey, and Humphrey was really running hard, Hank.
They really did a number on Jim Burt, the nose man, the center, and the right guard double-team him. Got good movement, and that's why they were able to run up the middle.
There's Kay, the tight end on the right side. Here's Elway giving to Humphrey again. Makes a very good cut and goes to the 30-yard line before he's out of bounds. And he got perhaps 6 yards on the carry, and Michael Walter, the leading tackler of San Francisco, made the hit. So again, it was Humphrey, and he's been involved in the last 3 plays. He has those bad ribs on the left side. He was carrying the ball in his right arm.
The other thing, there was this man-for-man blocking. Keena Turner, the outside linebacker, got turned out by the tight end. He went right inside the block and made a big gain on the play.
Making it 2nd and 4 for Elway and company, with Humphrey still in the backfield and the 3 wide receivers. Hay, the tight end on the right side. Motion the other tight end, Mobley. Back to throw. Here's a delay to Humphrey, and he tiptoes to within about a yard of a first down inside the 30 and down near the 28. So Humphrey has carried the ball 3 times and been involved in the 2 pass plays. Matt Millen made that tackle. Jim Burt was also in on the tackle along with Millen. The ball is inside the 28, and it's 3rd and 1.
It's amazing, too. The 49ers came into the game 4th in total defense, 3 against the run, 11 against the pass, and they're running the ball very well.
Critical call for the Broncos. They'll have to settle for a field goal try if they don't make the first down on 3rd and 1. And Johnson in motion. Elway sneaks the ball, gets a good surge, and a first down to the 25 of San Francisco. The offensive line of Parch, Juriga, Wydell, Lanier, and Gerald Perry gave him a great push. And a first down for the Broncos. They'll keep the drive going. They're at the San Francisco 25. Matt Millen made the tackle, and this has turned into a very good drive for the Broncos, who trail 7-0. First quarter, clock running, 7:20 remaining in the period. This is the 7th play of this Denver drive. Jackson goes left along with Vance Johnson. Steve Sewell to the right. Humphrey the lone setback. On first down, Elway tosses it, and it's a forward pass, batted down and incomplete. Boy, craziness in the backfield. Again, the forward pitch to Humphrey behind the line of scrimmage. Again, he had his back to the play. It bounced off him, came up in the air, and Elway batted it down.
Haley, the left linebacker, was blitzing on the play, and he got penetration, Jack, and he got between Humphrey and Elway, and he's the guy that knocked the ball down in the air. It's a wonder he didn't intercepted.
And then Elway had to bat it to the turf after Haley had the ball bounce off him. Elway is 1 out of 5. That's all. And it is a 4-man backfield for the Broncos. 2nd and 10 at the 25 of San Francisco. Elway starts Mobley, the tight end, in motion, and is back to throw. He throws outside and high and away and incomplete. He tried to get it to Mobley. The rush was coming up from Chet Brooks, the safety man, and the pass was overthrown and incomplete, and it is 3rd and 10 for Denver.
They had what they wanted on the play. They sent Mobley in motion with the idea that he would have one-for-one coverage on Brooks. However, he made the play and knocked the ball down in great shape, did a terrific job. Chet Brooks, who has been in the league for 3 years.
He stayed right on top of the tight end. Now Michael Young checks in as the 4th wide receiver for the Broncos, 6 defensive backs for San Francisco. 3rd and 10 at the 25 of the 49ers. Here back to throw is Elway. Steps up and throws, and it is incomplete. He threw into heavy traffic, and it is 4th down. So 3 incomplete passes in a row from Elway, who is 1 out of 6. Starting this game with a cold hand, and David Treadwell will try a field goal here with 6:52 left in the first quarter. And Treadwell is very good from this distance, Hank.
Well, Treadwell outside the 40-yard line is struggling. Treadwell has made only 1 of his last 7 field goal attempts outside of the 40-yard line.
This will be a 42-yard try, and Ted Kubiak will hold the ball. Keith Bishop will snap the ball, trying to get the Broncos on the board. There's the kick. It's long enough, and it is. Good, and the Broncos get off of the shutout, and they trail 7-3 with 6:47 remaining in the first quarter. But the Broncos themselves on that drive that they can move it against the 49ers. 49ers lead 7-3. First quarter, let's take time out. First, the 49ers had a 10-play touchdown drive, and now the Broncos went 49 yards in 10 plays, 3 minutes and 19 seconds, and picked up 3 on the Treadwell field goal. Treadwell will now kick it off. Terrence Flagler is deep along with Spencer Tillman, standing at their 5-yard line.
And Treadwell has 9 touchbacks this year. All of those came at Mile High Stadium.
And this ball will be returned by Flagler from the 4 to the 10 to the 15, runs right to the 20. He is covered and knocked down at about the 23-yard line. Good coverage downfield, and Tyrone Braxton made the tackle at the San Francisco 23-yard line. The offensive line of the 49ers is Jesse Sapolo, the center. Guy McIntyre and Bruce Colley are the guards, and Bubba Paris and Harris Barton are the tackles. Their tight end, most times, is Brent Jones. He's the starter. They mark the ball at the 18-yard line. And a first down call for Montana. Rathman's in the backfield. He hasn't carried the ball yet. 2 tight ends, and here's Montana rolling right and rushed and chased out of the pocket. Stays on the run and runs for the sideline and lost no yards. He went out of bounds at the line of scrimmage. And it was Alfonso Carricker who chased him out. Montana just won't throw that ball to dangerous spots on the field.
He's very patient, understanding, and he's going to take the skateboard, he'll take the bus, but he won't force the ball to try to get the jet up in the air.
6.5 left in the first quarter. San Francisco leading 7-3. And Montana now has Roger Craig in the backfield. Taylor to the left, Rice to the right, and the 2 tight end alignment for San Francisco. Here is a handoff to Roger Craig. He is hit at the 20, knocked down at about the 22, got 4, it's 3rd and 6. Craig came over the left side behind Guy McIntyre. He was stopped by Andre Townsend with help from Steve Atwater. Atwater, the rookie, was the leading tackler for Denver this year.
There's got to be a time in this game, Jack, where they're going to go after Atwater with a play-action pass. He's very, very aggressive. I think they'll try to do it either with Rice or Taylor, but somewhere when they have good field position, we can look for a play-action pass, trying to take advantage of that overplay by Atwater.
From the 22, it's 3rd and 6. 7 defensive backs for the Broncos. Here's Montana changing the play at the line of scrimmage. Gets under center. Has to beat the 30-second clock. Craig went in motion. Montana to throw. Chased out of the pocket on the run. He throws, and it is incomplete. And the 49ers will have to punt. They put some pressure on Montana that time. He was rolling left, darn near sacked, threw the ball, just about threw it away, and a punt coming up.
They had an overload on the right side, Jack. They want to make sure if he escapes, he can escape to his right. He loves the rollout to his right. They forced him to throw left on the move. He doesn't do that nearly as well.
So So here is a punt coming up from Barry Helton, who averaged 40 yards per kick during the regular season, but only 30 yards per kick in the 2 postseason games. He'll get it away from about his 10. Vance Johnson is back inside his 40 for the Broncos, who should be in good shape when they get this ball. Here's a kind of a line drive kick. Johnson took it on the 42 to the 45 to midfield, and then knocked down at about the 48, his own 48. So Denver, trailing by 4, gets the ball after a 36-yard punt, not a very good one. A 6-yard return. Rathman made the tackle, and the Broncos at their own 48. Let's take time out. And a particular hello to the ladies and gentlemen tuned in on Armed Forces Radio. Hank Michael Carter's playing on the nose, and Pete Kugler is playing an end position now for the 49ers.
Yeah, that gives him more strength up the middle, Jack, and a little bit more speed on the outside.
From his own 48, Mark Jackson goes to the left. 2 running backs for Elway. 2 tight end alignment for the Broncos. A long step count by Elway, who sends the running back Stratton in motion. A handoff to Humphrey. Humphrey gets only to the 50, and a strong tackle sent him back, and the ball came loose. San Francisco comes away with it, they think. The 49er players have it. And a fumble. A big hit by Kevin Fagan. And the fumble. And the first turnover belongs to the Denver Broncos, and the 49ers take over at their own 46.
He's got cracked ribs on the left side, Jack, talking about Humphrey. So as a result, he's going to run the ball. You see, he's running the ball left with the ball in the right arm instead of the left arm, and that's when it popped out of there, and now 49ers have possession.
And you ask for trouble when you give the ball to Montana at his own 46. Brent Jones in motion. A give to Rathman, a big hole to the 45, down to the 41 of the Broncos, a first down. Over the left side, Tom Rathman. Carl Mecklenburg had to make the tackle. A flag is down, and it's holding against San Francisco. That helps the Broncos immeasurably. It was a big gain to the 41 of the Broncos, but holding against San Francisco. Here's
holding,
the referee.
Number 61, offense, 10 yards, still first down.
The ball goes back to the San Francisco 36, first and 20. But we've seen Montana overcome this situation frequently. That was the first penalty of the game. Jesse Sapolo, the center, was called for holding. John Taylor to the right and Jerry Rice to the left. Anderson playing heads up on Jerry Rice. Here's Montana with a fake draw and a pass play. He throws on the run over the middle. Caught by Rice. First down inside the 45. Nothing to it. Nothing to it for the 49ers, and the play goes inside the 45-yard line of the Broncos, and they don't give him the forward progress I thought he had. It might be a first down. The tackle by Dennis Smith. It was not an easy catch for Rice, and they're going to measure to see if San Francisco has a first down. It was first and 20, nothing to it.
And Wyman Henderson tried to jam him at the line of scrimmage, got pushed off, Rice ran the pattern across the field, was open and made the necessary yardage for the first down, Jack.
It is a first down.
And Montana on first down passing in the 2 playoff games, he has gone 17 of 19 on first down situations, 89%. Incredible.
He has been hot. They overcame the holding penalty. Rice goes left, and Rice goes to the right, and Taylor to the left. Craig and Rathman in the backfield for a first down call. Montana to Rathman, sliding right, turns upfield and driven back on a strong tackle by Mecklenburg, who had some help. And a 2-yard pickup for Tom Rathman, the big running back out of Nebraska.
I guarantee you one thing, Jack, I wouldn't run and do any business to Mecklenburg's side. He's 77, he's big and he's strong, weighs about 245. The place to run is away from him. The other linebackers aren't as big or as strong. Talking about the inside linebacker, Rick Dennison, or even Brooks.
It is second down and 8 for San Francisco. Both wide receivers to the right side. Craig in motion. Montana back to throw. Short drop out on the plant. Throws complete to Craig. Craig spins down near the 35-yard line, short of a first down, in the arms of Simon Fletcher, who got the help from Dennis Smith. And it's third down coming up for San Francisco.
When they're in a slot to the right side, Jack, and they send Craig in motion to the left, it looks like they're probing a little bit to see where the safety is going to go and if they have a shot for a big play to their tight end, Brent Jones, I'm sorry, number 84.
It is 3rd and 2 for San Francisco at the 36-yard line. 3 wide receivers now for San Francisco, including Wilson. Here's the running play to Craig, running left. He is knocked down at the 34. From here, it looks like he's short of a first down on that third down play. But the 49ers are in a spot where they can gamble if they wish. Mecklenburg and Dennison made the tackle. 2:52 left in the first quarter. And they stopped the clock. Perhaps they'll measure again. 49ers have the lead by the score of 7-3. They did not make the first down. It is 4th and inches. And I, for one, Hank, would like to see a team gamble in a spot like this because you don't get that many chances in a Super Bowl game.
No, I'll be very surprised if they don't gamble and go for it on this situation. They've got, even if they don't make it, the field position for Denver isn't that good.
It's 4th and less than a yard. A tight formation. Montana under center. He hands it off to Rathman. First down. Fumble. Denver has the ball. Was he down? That's the question. Rathman fumbled the ball after picking up first down yardage. The question is, was he down? And perhaps that is the call.
First down.
It's a first down, San Francisco. He was down when he coughed the ball up, and a couple of things happened there. He almost lost the ball to the Broncos, and secondly, he almost broke it for a score, Hank.
Well, the other thing he said in the paper the other day, it's ironic, he said the only thing I worry about in this game is fumbling. I do not want to fumble, and here he's fumbled on the last play.
He was down before the ball came loose, and it's a first down at the Bronco 31. 1:45 left in the first quarter. 3 wide receivers, including Mike Wilson for the 49ers.
Ought to throw it right, Jack, if they throw it.
Montana fakes the handoff, throws into the end zone, and a miscommunication to John Taylor. The pass incomplete. Taylor cut the route short. Montana threw it into the end zone, incomplete. That stops the clock with 1:30 remaining in the first quarter. San Francisco leading by the score of 7-3.
Jones on the right side was split to the right side, Jack. He had a perfect opportunity, one-on-one, had a lot of room. I'm surprised Joe didn't see him out there and try to go to him.
We've seen Montana better than this. He's 5 out of 9, 1 touchdown pass. But as Hank mentioned earlier, he doesn't throw too many bad passes consecutively. Split backs, tight formation. Rice, the long wide receiver. Montana changes the play, and Taylor splits out. Here back to throw is Montana. He is on the run. He throws on the run, and it's incomplete, and a strong defensive play at the 15-yard line. He tried to get the ball to Taylor, and it was Braxton right on top of him. The pass incomplete. That was a great play by Braxton.
It really was.
Montana, I imagine, was tempted to run with the ball, but he was being shadowed by Cragen, the nose guard. Might have been able to outrun him, so Montana threw the ball on the run at about the 15-yard line. And the defensive back came around and avoided interference and knocked the ball down.
Taylor didn't come back for the ball far enough. Had he come back toward the ball, he would have made the catch.
This is the 8th play of the drive coming up. It's 3rd and 10, 4 wide receiver San Francisco. Montana straight back to throw. Steps up, throws over the middle. Caught. First down inside the 15. Down to the 10, down to the 9. Jerry Rice. Oh, he's tough to hit. He's tough to bring down, and Montana was hot on that 3rd down play.
You talk about a frozen rope. That was one. And here again, had all the time in the world to throw the ball. Rice on an inside pattern. They got the, look at, Joe got it right between the linebackers beautifully, perfectly. And of course, Rice runs the ball so well once he makes the catch. He made an extra 8 or 9 yards just running the football.
A 22-yard pickup. 4 passes caught by Rice. And here Here's a first down call just inside the 10. It's first and goal. Rice in motion. There goes Craig, finding a little bit of room up the middle. Broke a couple of tackles, then only got about a yard. A 1-yard pickup for Craig to the Denver 8. And the Broncos would like to make the 49ers settle for a field goal try. A Denver player is shaken up. That's Mecklenburg, and that stops the clock with 23 seconds left here in the first quarter. San Francisco leads by the score of 7-3, and let's take time out.
When asked in a nationwide test which regular ground coffee they preferred, Maxwell House or Folgers, more people responded, even Folgers drinkers chose the taste of Maxwell House coffee, with the richness that comes from coffee that's blended with Colombian beans. Because better beans make better coffee. For rich coffee, America prefers Maxwell House.
Jabrowski, wake up out there!
It's hard to keep your head in the game when it's itching like crazy.
If your shampoo can't get rid of the itch, switch to Tegrin. Tegrin medicated shampoo controls all major causes of itching and flaking. Tough dandruff, eczema, seborrhea, and psoriasis. Not even Head and Shoulders can do all that.
Good play, Jabrowski!
Switching to Tegrin's the best move I ever made.
Tegrin medicated shampoo. Wouldn't you rather switch than itch?
The people at Transamerica believe in doing a few things very well instead of trying to do a lot of things pretty well. So when they offer you financial products from the Transamerica Life Companies, mutual funds from the Transamerica Criterion Group, or home equity loans from the Transamerica Finance Group, they're offering their best. When they say Transamerica is different, they're talking about more than they're building. They are different on the inside, too. Transamerica, the power of the pyramid, is working for you. Carl Mecklenburg staggered off the field. Let's pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS radio network.
Award-winning local news, CBS News and Sports. Only on News Talk 590, KLBJ, AM, Austin.
Second and goal from the 7 for the 49ers when we resume play with only 23 seconds remaining in the first quarter. San Francisco leading 7-3. They scored on a 20-yard touchdown pass to Jerry Rice. The Broncos came back and tallied on a 42-yard field goal by David Treadwell. Now trying to get 6 more. Here comes Montana. Rice and Taylor go to the left. And motion by Roger Craig. Montana takes the snap, rolls right, throws, and is caught by the tight end. Touchdown, Jones! Brent Jones, and the 49ers strike again. A 7-yard pass play to Brent Jones. Very loose coverage on him, Hank.
Well, it was, and of course, they sent it back in motion to get Braxton outside and loosen that area up. And the safety man didn't come up far enough, and as a result, the tight end Jones was open, and he ran in there for the touchdown on a bootleg pattern.
13-3 the score, and again you say, uh-oh, these 49ers simply cannot be stopped. Mike Cofer will try the extra point. He has missed a total of 3 extra points all year, 1 in playoff competition. Barry Helton will hold the ball. Chuck Thomas will snap it. Snap is good. They get it down. The kick is up, and it's no good. Mike Cofer blew that one. And the score remains 13-3 with 3 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Brent Jones with a touchdown, and Brent, for all you do, this bud's for you. Let's pause for this word.
America's commercial full-service banks have joined the fight against drugs. Working with law enforcement agencies, they're making it tougher than ever for drug dealers. You can help your banker stop the laundering of illicit drug money by giving your full cooperation when asked for personal identification or information about certain transactions, and by being patient when these necessary measures cause temporary delays. Remember, when you help out, you're playing a vital role in helping win the fight against drugs.
Brought to you by the American Bankers Association.
There's a profitable way to ring it in. Day after day, week after week, month after month. Just use the Discover card all year long.
because you will actually earn cash back for every charge. Up to 1% back every year based on your annual purchases. Just think, cash back in the new year. Doesn't that have a nice ring to it? It pays to Discover, the card that pays you back.
We have had 3 10-play scoring drives in this game. The extra point was missed by Coper a moment ago as he shanked the ball off to the right. And the score is 13-3 with 3 seconds left in the half as Coper kicks it off. This one is high and deep and will be returned from the 7 by Ken Bell. Quickly to the 20, hit hard and down at the 25-yard line. And that's the way the first quarter comes to a close. The Broncos will start from their 25 when we commence the second quarter. It's 13-3 San Francisco. And let's pause for this word. Super Bowl 24. CBS Radio Sports coverage of Super Bowl 24 is sponsored by Campbell's Chunky Soup, by Alien Nation from Fox Broadcasting, by the State Farm Insurance Company, and by Buick and your Buick dealer. 13-3 San Francisco. A 20-yard scoring pass to Jerry Rice. Denver countered with a 42-yard field goal by David Treadwell. A 7-yard touchdown pass to Brent Jones made it 13-3, and Mike Coper missed the extra point. Mecklenburg is putting a brace on his left knee after being injured earlier, and the Broncos start from their 25 as we get underway in the second quarter. Later in the broadcast, we'll tell you about today's Chunky Super Lineman, sponsored by Campbell's Chunky Soup, the satisfying stop that keeps you going. What do you think of the trend of this one, Hank? It was a fumble that led to that last touchdown by the 49ers.
Well, we talked about that fumble opportunity potential, Jack, because I think that anytime you have a pad on the rib cage, why, if you carry the ball on that side, why, you're going to have a problem because it's away from your body. As a result, you carry the ball in the wrong arm, and when you do that, you get attacked from the inside out, and it creates a lot of fumble opportunities, and that's exactly what happened to Humphrey.
Mark Jackson to the left, Vance Johnson to the right for the Broncos. And motion by the tight end, Mobley. Here back to throw is Elway. Hit as he throws, it's in, complete and almost intercepted. It was out beyond the 35-yard line, in and out of the arms of Mark Jackson. And the hit by Don Griffin on the play. And then Mike Walter almost had the ball come to him as he was going to the ground. A dangerous throw by Elway. Elway's stats here in the early going.
Well, he's only 1 of 7, 1 of 8 now, Jack, for 27 yards. Montana is 7 of 12 for 2 touchdowns and 93 yards.
Elway has missed on his last 5. And he is under center, 2nd and 10 from his 25-yard line. Bobby Humphrey in the backfield with it. Here is Elway back to throw. He throws over the middle, and it's incomplete beyond the 35. Incomplete is the call. And off the hands of Clarence Kay, the tight end.
There again, Jack, the big problem is that the 49ers are getting a severe rush.
With a very ordinary frontage up there, they're not gambling at all, are they?
No, they never gamble anyhow, Jack, but they're getting to the quarterback with good pressure with a 4-man rush. And as a result, Elway is not able to step and throw and follow through and throw the ball like he'd like to, and that's really the problem.
A couple of balls have been dropped by the Broncos. 6 defensive backs for the 49ers. Out of the shotgun formation is Elway on 3rd and 10. Takes the snap, sets up to throw. He throws. It's caught on a middle screen. The play comes across the 30. That's all. Taken down by Sammy Winder. And it's punting time for the Broncos again. Mild fisticuffs break out. That screen pass was good for 6 yards, and the Broncos will have to punt. As we've mentioned, every time we've been involved with the 49ers on a broadcast, you just hate to give Montana the ball.
Well, the other thing, Jack, is that Pierce Holt that time, it was a middle screen. He got penetration, but he's so quick and agile that he recovered well enough to make the tackle from the backside.
Here is the punt by Mike Horan. The left-footed kicker hangs it high. John Taylor calls for a fair catch and took it at his own 31-yard line. So that's where Montana will set up shop after a 37-yard punt. We have 14:22 left in the half. The 49ers have the ball in a 13-3 lead. Let's take time out. Carl Mecklenburg is back in there defensively for the Broncos. Hey, we have a score, an update from the Bud Bowl 2. At the end of the first quarter, Bud Light leads Budweiser 13-3. And a controversial play, illegal use of the hands by Bud Light. What hands? The ball's at the 31 of San Francisco. Terry Tausch and Steve Wallace check in to the offensive line of the 49ers with Wallace at left tackle and Tausch at the guard spot. Back to throw Montana. His short pass over the middle of Rathman. A big play, a first down out to the 49-yard line. And it is Simon Fletcher making the tackle, but they cannot stop this 49er offense, which is rolling now.
Well, they got 5 receivers, Jack. Taylor has caught 60. Jones has caught 40. Rice has caught 82. Craig has caught 49. And Rathman, 73. Who are you going to try to stop?
That was an 18-yard pickup to the San Francisco 49. I formation with Craig, the tailback. A first down call, now split backs. And here's Montana handing off, and Craig plows down to the 45. He got 6. Into Denver territory, the 45-yard line, and it looks at the moment that the 49ers can do whatever they desire.
San Francisco, Jack, so far, ball possession, 10-36, Denver 5-02. The other great thing that they're doing is mixing up the plays. That time they ran a trap after throwing a pass. They get a severe rush, then they trap that rush.
Here's second down and 4 at the Denver 45-yard line. Montana hands it off on a delay, and Roger Craig breaks a tackle, gets a first down, goes to the 35-yard line of the Broncos. Craig running like a wild man with his knees up high. Carricker made the tackle.
You almost have to tackle Craig from the outside. It's hard to tackle him head up because the knee action is so severe that he's going to give you a shot right in the smush if you try to tackle him in the knee area. Plus the fact that once he's in trouble, he really covers up the ball extremely well with both hands.
Jerry Rice goes left, and John Taylor to the right. It's first down at the 36 of the Broncos for Montana. Rathman in the backfield. Montana to throw. Short drop. He's chased out of the pocket. He throws on the run, threw it away. He overthrew everybody, stopping the clock with 12:22 remaining in the half and a 13-3 San Francisco lead.
There again, Jack, they forced him to run to his left to throw the ball. He does not throw it nearly as well, escaping to his left as he does to the right.
San Francisco has had 10 first downs in this game. The Broncos only 3. The Broncos the only turnover, and the 49ers went in and scored a TD after recovering a fumble. Taylor and Rice both go left. The tight end lines up on the right side. That's Brent Jones. It's 2nd and 10. Motion now by Rice. And Montana fakes a handoff and wants to throw over the middle, and it is caught by Rathman. Breaks a tackle, dives inside the 25 for a first down. Rathman shook loose. Hank, every one of these San Francisco players comprehend this offense so well.
Well, the great thing about this now, that was supposed to be a screen pass to the left side. They had the screen faded, so what did Montana do? He dumps the ball off to Rathman. And Rathman makes the catch and, of course, makes big yardage on the play. I mean, that's how aware Montana is.
I can't keep from saying, uh-oh, these 49ers look like they're ready to tear the Broncos up. It's first down at the Denver 24-yard line. Flagler is in the backfield. Here is a handoff to Craig, running right, tries to turn the corner, turns upfield, goes down near the 16-yard line. He got big yards there before Atwater could tackle him. And already San Francisco's within rather easy field goal range. The line of scrimmage is the 16 of the Broncos.
The way Kofor kicks, Jack, I don't think any kick is easy. The other thing about it is the tight end that time did a magnificent job. Jones on the linebacker, blocked him, knocked him off the line of scrimmage, and Craig was able to take advantage of that block.
It is to the left for Rice and Taylor. 2nd and 2 for the 49ers. Motion by Craig. And a give to Rathman. Right side. Stop. Bounces off. Dives inside the 15-yard line. Very close to a first down. Short of a first down by about a foot. Rathman to the 15, 3rd and 1 for the 49ers.
That play would have been a lot better off had he bounced it outside initially. The end came down very tight, and as a result, instead of going inside of that defensive end, the place to run was outside. He made the decision a little bit too late and was out of business.
3rd and short for the 49ers, about a foot. They use 2 tight ends, Wesley Walls and Jamie Williams. Brent Jones is out, a tight formation.
Looks like they're lining up with something left.
There they go left with Roger Craig. Breaks a tackle, gets a first down. He was hit at the line of scrimmage, but got a first down to the 12-yard line. Running to his left, behind Bubba Paris, the big offensive tackle on the left side. Actually, it's Wallace in there playing that position right now.
Notice he hates for anybody to know that he weighs over 300 pounds, so they list him at 299.
That's what they introduced him at here today. 9:40 left in the half. The 49ers leading 13-3. First down to the Broncos 12. This is the 9th play of this drive. Montana on first down from the 12. Hands it off to Craig and hit, no gain. Tried to go up the middle, went outside. Greg Craigan latched onto him. No gain. But these Broncos didn't have the football long enough in this first half, Hank. They'll get another crack or two at it, but when the 49ers hang on to that pigskin, bad things happen to the opponents.
Well, that's what they want to do. They want to keep the ball away from Elway and company. Elway is not a patient quarterback. When he gets behind, he tries to make big plays because of his big arm, and that's when he gets himself in a little bit of trouble.
It is 2nd down and 10 for Montana. 6 defensive backs for the Broncos. Rathman and Craig in the backfield. Montana takes the snap, gives to Craig, running left, and he is bumped out of bounds near the line of scrimmage. No gain. It'll be 3rd and 10. Out in front was Terry Tausch leading the play, but Wyman Henderson forced it from the corner. No gain. It's 3rd and 12, 3rd and 10 at the 12-yard line.
I'm really surprised that Joe didn't call some kind of a play-action pass, especially on the 1st and 10 situation, rather than wait to 3rd down to throw one.
On 3rd down, San Francisco has made a first down 4 times in 6 drives. 3 wide receivers with Jerry Rice to the right. Rathman in the backfield with Montana. Montana straight back. He throws short, and it is caught by Rathman brilliantly. 1st and goal at about the 2-yard line. Well, maybe he didn't make a first down. Rathman reached back and caught that ball with one hand, pulled it into his chest, and dived down to about, well, just inside the 3, and they're going to have to measure.
You know what happened on the play, Jack? They were double covering the outside receivers. As a result, Rathman, the back or the tight end, had to be open. Jones was also in the vicinity, but they threw the ball to Rathman. That's the only place to throw the ball against that coverage.
That was on a 3rd down play, and the 49ers are short by inches. It is 4th down and inches. San Francisco this year, 6 out of 9 on 4th down. And they are not going to try the field goal. They're going to go for the pump here. They're already leading 13-3, and they're going for the juggler, Hank.
That's good. I like to see that. And even if they don't make it, they're going to be in good position to stop the Denver Broncos down by the 1 or 2 yard line.
49ers made a first down on 4th down earlier today. They have 2 tight ends in there, Walls and Williams, with Craig and Rathman in the backfield. Montana hands it off, and Rathman dives to the 2 and gets a first down. Rathman looked like he was catapulted to the 2-yard line. And it's 1st and goal for San Francisco.
That was a bad exchange, which is something you rarely see with Montana. A bad exchange between the fullback and the quarterback, but in spite of that, he still got the surge. A good push by the offensive line, and Rathman was in a good low position with his head down and those shoulders pointed in the right direction and made the yardage.
Who's going to get the call? Who's going to try for 6? The ball is just outside the 1-yard line.
Play action is great here, Jack.
Rice goes in motion. Montana hands it off. Craig to the goal line, but not in. But they don't appear to have the ability to do it from what we've seen thus far.
No, they get pushed around pretty well. They'll get a good... 49ers are really getting a good push in the line of scrimmage.
2 tight end offense for San Francisco. 2nd and goal Here's a give the Rathbun, and he dives over for the score. Did he get in? They haven't called it yet, but I think they will. Rathbun dived inside the goal line, and that's a touchdown. A delayed call by the official, but now it's 19-3.
Boy, that line is doing a great job. They're really coming off the ball well, and Rathbun explodes just like he's coming out of a gun on that short yardage situation.
7:15 left in the half, and for Tom Rathbun, for all you do, this bunch for you. And Mike Cofer, who has made one and missed one, will try the extra point. So Rice has a touchdown. Brent Jones has a touchdown. Rathbun has a touchdown. The ball will be held by Barry Helton. There's a snap and the kick, and this one is good. That makes it 20-3. 7:15 left in the half, and the Broncos had better get busy. Let's take time out.
State Farm is there, making life insurance work for the young family. A State Farm agent is there to get young people started with life insurance that works for their family and their budget. And the State Farm agent stays in touch as things change to help make sure your life insurance is still doing the job. If you want life insurance that works for you, get an agent who works for you. A State Farm agent.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
That was a 14-play scoring drive by the 49ers. We'll be back in just a moment. Doesn't matter who it is, the Minnesota Vikings, the Los Angeles Rams, today the Denver Broncos, San Francisco, total yards 196, Denver 56.
Well, the great thing about it is they've been able to play keep away. The old game we used to play when we were kids, Jack, they just haven't permitted the Denver Broncos to have the ball very long, and that's really made a tremendous difference. But the execution of the 49ers is just flawless.
And here's the kickoff coming from Mike Cofer from our left to our right. Ken Bell and Darren Carrington are deep. Here's a high kick that will be returned by Carrington from the 1 to the 10, up the middle, slanting left, 20-yard line. 21, that's all. To the Denver 21, and Elway will go from there. Let's pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS radio network.
More news, more weather, more sports, and traffic than any station in Austin. News Talk 590, KLBJ, AM, Austin.
That San Francisco tackle. And John Elway wants to get something started from his own 21. Let's take time out. In a critical game when your quarterback is 2 out of 10 in the early going. That's what John Elway is. And a first down at his own 21.
Quarterback might have a bad quarter, might have 2 bad quarters, Jack, but they never had 4, not the great ones. Elway will come back.
Elway on a first down call. Delays the ball to Humphrey, tackled in the backfield. He lost 3 yards. They were waiting for that one, and it was Matt Millen, who really plays the run very well, making the hit.
And there again, he's running to his left with a ball in the right arm, Jack, and that's dangerous because that's where the pursuit is coming from, and he's going to lose another one if he's not careful.
Jim Burt got penetration. And Matt Millen made the tackle at the 18-yard line on a loss of 3 at 2nd and 13. Listen to this. Prior to this series, folks, San Francisco has had the ball almost 18 minutes. Denver, 5 minutes. Tim McKyer checks in defensively for the 49ers, and Elway gets under center. Elway can get things burning here, delays the ball to Humphrey, and he gets back to the 19-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and 11. And the fans here, I suppose, rooting for the Broncos are booing that call.
But why did they call the play, Jack? I think they thought because of the structure of the defense that they'd be looking for a pass, and they might cross them up and get a big chunk of yardage on that 2nd down situation. It didn't work, so fans are going to be in disbelief of why you call the play and boo.
3rd and 11, and the shotgun formation. Denver's 1 out of 4 on 3rd down. Elway will be throwing against 6 defensive backs. He steps up, he looks, he throws over the middle, incomplete, off the hands of Mark Jackson. Well, that would have really helped the Denver Broncos, but it zipped right through the hands, about chin high, of Mark Jackson, and the Broncos will have to punt. They can't do anything right, Hank.
Well, you can't throw a ball any better than he threw that one. He stepped up into the pocket. The rush was on the outside. He still got out of the pocket. The ball should have been caught. It went right through his hands and hit him right in the face mask.
Mike Horan will punt the ball from about his own 10. Here's his third punt, the left-footed kicker. Kicks it away from John Taylor, and it goes out of bounds near midfield. So San Francisco gets it back in great operating position with 5:27 left in the half. They mark the ball at the 50. The 49ers already lead 20-3. Watch out, folks. We might have a blowout here. Let's take time out. Music of Kenny Rogers through the years, and a salute also to Joe Robbie, who died recently, the owner of the Miami Dolphins. The music of Barry Manilow and Memory. Meanwhile, here at halftime on CBS Radio with Brent Musburger, a star-studded lineup with Jim Hunter on the field, Randy Cross, the former 49er, Commissioner Paul Tagliabue, Brent with Mike Ditka, Dick Butkus, Herb Cross, and Will McDonough, all at halftime, so stay with us on CBS Radio. How is Montana going to strike now? From midfield, first down. Rice is to the left, John Taylor to the right. Here's a delay to the running back, Roger Craig. He is hit and knocked down right at the line of scrimmage. Tried to come right, and the cornerback forced it very well. That was Braxton along with Dennis Smith, the safety man.
He ran that play very successfully early in the game for a big game. They haven't succeeded in doing a very good job with it since that time. The pursuit of the Denver Broncos has been excellent, and they've been running the play down from behind.
Mike Brooks had a pinched nerve earlier in his left shoulder for the Denver Broncos. And he is out of the lineup at the moment. 2nd and 10 Montana from the 50. Under center, 6 defensive backs. Here's another pass play. And to the sideline, caught by Craig. Craig gets a couple of yards, and what a big hit he took. He gained only 1 yard, and he was blasted by Dennis Smith up high, very close to penalty territory. But a strong tackle by Dennis Smith.
Yeah, he had the hat right under the shoulder, right near the shoulder pads, and then slid up right into his face, Jack. It was a terrific hit by Dennis Smith, number 49.
At the Denver 49, and it's 3rd and 9 for San Francisco. Let's see how Montana does on 3rd down. Rice comes to the right, Taylor to the left. Jones, the tight end, on the right side. Both Rathman and Craig in the backfield. 4 minutes left in the half.
You got to throw the ball to the tight end or the backs again.
Montana throws to Craig, and he is tackled short of a first down inside the 45, and the 49ers will have to punt the ball. Braxton giving a little life to the Denver defense, along with Steve Atwater. So this will be a punt by Barry Helton. The clock is running. 3:35 left in the half. The second punt of the day for the 49ers. Back to get it, Vance Johnson. He'll stand at about his 10. 20-3, the 49ers lead. There's the kick. Johnson rushes to take it on the 12. Comes to the 15 and knocked down at the 16. And that's where the Broncos are pinned down at their 16-yard line. 31-yard punt. That's all Helton wanted, really. A 4-yard turn. In Bud Bowl 2 at the half, Bud Light now leads Budweiser 20-13. Getting colder at the site of that game. And Budway Joe, Bud Light's quarterback, as the defense rattled. The ball at the 16-yard line here for the Broncos. 20-3, the 49ers lead.
They have to be careful, Jack. They don't make a mistake trying to get some points here and wind up with more scoring on the part of the 49ers.
Humphrey in the backfield, tight end in motion. Back to throw Elway, protection. He swings it out. It's caught by Humphrey. He dives out to the 20-yard line, and he got 4 on the pass play. A little swing pass from Elway. Michael Carter made the tackle, along with Pete Kugler.
One thing that's interesting, Jack, is the fact that Elway has not completed a pass to his wide receivers so far in the contest.
And those would be Vance Johnson and Mark Jackson. There have been 3 drop balls. We'd better continue to point that out. We're under 3 minutes in the first half. And it's 2nd and 6 for the Broncos. Elway calls the signals. Drops straight back to throw. Steps up and throws, and a diving catch beyond the 25-yard line by the tight end, Clarence Kay. A good catch by Kay, and close enough to measure for a first down. They stop the clock with 2:27 remaining in the half. Came for a big man at 237. Made a very good reception on that one, Hank.
Yes, he did, Jack. And, of course, you know what's happening, too, up front. Carter hasn't played for a long time because of an injury. He's doing a great job in there on the nose of the offensive center, Keith Karts. He's really giving him a hard time.
That's a first down for the Broncos. One of the few bright spots here in the first half for Denver. The first Denver first down since the 7-minute mark of the first quarter. And we have 2:15 left in the second quarter. Elway with two tight ends. Back to throw again. Throws, and it's caught by Vance Johnson beyond the 30. Knocked down near the 34-yard line. And 2:02, and now 2 minutes left in the half. When we resume with 2 minutes left in the half, it'll be second down for the Broncos. Second down and 2. Broncos trail 20-3. Let's pause for this word. John Elway and the Denver Broncos hope to make maximum use of the 2 minutes remaining in the half. They have the ball at their own 34, second and 2. And with 2 minutes left in the half, there's been only one penalty in this game, a holding call against San Francisco, a penalty quickly overcome by Joe Montana. It didn't slow him down one bit. Trailing by 17, the Broncos break the huddle with Jackson and Johnson to the left side and Steve Sewell to the right. Sewell is usually a force in the game, but Elway has been able to get the ball to him. Elway back to throw. No pressure. He throws, and it is underthrown and incomplete. He tried to get it to Johnson. He threw the ball low, and Johnson couldn't come away with it. And Elway is not distinguishing himself today.
Well, I think the other thing that's happening, Jack, he looks at that defense. It looks like a double zone. But the defensive backs, the corners, are playing soft. As a result, they're right in between. If you're going to throw in front, they're going to make the play. And if you throw behind, if you're not careful, they're going to make an interception. So I think he's a little confused about the coverage.
Well, that makes it 3rd and 2, and Elway is 5 out of 15. 49ers show the blitz, but it's a 4-man rush, and Elway throws outside, and the pass is incomplete. That might have been interference, but there is no call. Out there in that territory with Mark Jackson, and Tim McIyer came up very strongly and apparently timed it in excellent form.
Oh, he's a terrific defensive back. He's been hurt some of the time during the course of the season. But there again, say they clamp on the receiver very quickly. They were playing the zone, and then they came right up, looked like man for man, came up quickly to make the play on the ball. McIyer's a terrific defensive back.
Here, Horan punts. They stay away from him, and Taylor takes it at his 25-yard line and returns to the 30, to the 35, to the 40-yard line. No place to run. He is out of bounds at about the 41. So San Francisco gets it again. They have all 3 timeouts and 1 minute and 38 seconds remaining. Time to do more damage. That was a 40-yard punt, 16-yard return. Rick Dennison with the defensive play. There is one more game this year next Sunday on CBS Radio, the Pro Bowl from Aloha Stadium in Honolulu. Howard David and Hank Stram will be there for that broadcast at 7:45 Eastern Time on CBS Radio, the Pro Bowl. He'll try to get more points, Hank. They won't sit on it.
No, they won't. They'll go right after it like the score is 0-0.
Montana under center with Craig and Rathman, and Rice in motion now. Montana to throw. He swings it out. It's caught by Rathman, all down from behind at the 45. He picked up 4. Fletcher made the tackle, and it's a hurry-up offense for San Francisco. Clock running down, 1:20 remaining in the half. A no-huddle offense for San Francisco. Another pass by Montana. He pulls her down and runs with the ball, and did not go out of bounds. He tried for the first down, but didn't get it near midfield. Wyman Henderson covered him, and the 49ers used their first timeout.
You don't think he's a great competitor? He could have.
Number 1, 40 seconds.
In most cases, quarterbacks would have run out of bounds in that situation, Jack, as you know. He saw that he wouldn't have made the first down, so he tried to lower the body and hit with the shoulder pass and try to get it. He didn't succeed, but at least tried.
They're going to measure, and we have 105. Well, they are going to measure, so San Francisco didn't really have to call a timeout, but they are charged with a timeout. 10 times this year, the 49ers have scored in the last minute of the first half. So the clock doesn't bother them much. And they already lead 20-3. They do measure, and they are short at the Denver 49. We have some great personalities from you to hear from here at halftime, so don't go away at the intermission. And the fans here, 72,000 plus in the Superdome, will be royally entertained. Montana comes back from the sideline after talking it over with George Seifert. Dan Reeves on the sideline right in front of us cannot like the way this one is unfolding. Or folding.
That could be the word. But I don't think that'll happen, Jack. I think Denver, once they get a little possession time in their favor, I think they'll move the ball much, much better. And plus the fact they have to get decent field position in the meantime. The defense has to do a remarkable job, and so especially teams have to make something happen.
Third down and a foot for the 49ers at the 49 of Denver. Tight end is Wesley Walls along with Jamie Williams. Here's a give to Rathman. He gets a first down to the 47. That's a first down, and they let the clock go down. 55 seconds left in the half. Montana with no huddle gets under center again. He has 2 timeouts ready and sets up to throw. He is rushed by Lucas and throws, and it's caught for about 9 yards. Inside the 40-yard line, timeout, 49ers. 40 seconds left in the half. Wesley Walls caught that one.
Number 2, 40 seconds.
Wesley Walls, the rookie from Mississippi, caught that pass, and with 40 seconds left in the half, let's pause for this word.
Okay. This like goddess was walking by, and my sore throat hurts so bad, I can't even say, come to me, chicky, baby. So, I try this Superstat lozenge, and boom, Mr. Payne is doing a fast fade. The chick is like in the auto with me, and like, where'd they ever get a weird name like Superstat?
Superstat, stat. In the hospital, stat means fast. Superstat lozenges with anesthetic action mean fast relief of sore throat pain. Superstat, stat.
San Francisco faces 2nd and 1 at the 37 of the Broncos. Broncos try to stiffen up their defense. Mark Haynes is in as the extra defensive back. Montana has hit 9 out of his last 10 throws. Motion by Craig. Here's Montana to throw. Fake short and looks long, going for it all. Rice touchdown! Rice touchdown on 2nd and 1. A 38-yard pass play, and look at there. It's 26-3. They are something to behold.
They had 2 deep, Jack. 2 deep. And Rice made a move on the safety. It looked like it might have been Atwater and got right in there behind him for the touchdown. That's something they thought they could do coming into this ball game, and they got it done on the short yardage situation with 2nd and 1. Unbelievable.
With only 34 seconds left in the half, a 38-yard pass play to Jerry Rice. His 2nd touchdown of the day. And Montana is hot. When he gets hot, folks, why, you've got to bow in his direction. He beat Dennis Smith, who was trying to keep up with Jerry Rice and couldn't do so. Here's the extra point try by Coper. It is good. It's 27-3. With 34 seconds left in the half. And Joe Montana, for all you do, this bunch for you. Rice has caught 5 for 109 yards, 2 touchdowns. 27-3, San Francisco. Let's pause for this word.
CBS Sports Dream Season continues Saturday on the road to the Final Four. Plus, a stop at picturesque Pebble Beach. First, it's an NCAA hoop doubleheader with Big East foes Georgetown and St. John's leading off, followed by high-scoring Loyola Marymount versus LSU. Then it's on to the beautiful Monterey Peninsula, home of one of the most spectacular and popular events on the Pro Tour, the AT&T Pebble Beach National Pro-Am. See the Dream Season unfold Saturday on CBS Sports.
Mr. Montana, and you always have to call somebody that good Mr. is 15 out of 21 after a slow start. He has thrown for 3 touchdowns, and he cashes in with 34 seconds left in the half.
They had a double zone again, Jack, and the safeties. Smith got beat. He was way, way off protecting the half of the field, and Rice just went at him and to the inside. It was such a big cushion, ran right by Smith for the touchdown.
Hank, I'm sure you'd agree that some quarterbacks would have missed on that throw, but not Montana.
No, he never does. He gets a shot at making a big home run play, and he's going to get it done.
5 plays on that touchdown drive. Here's the kick by Cofer. And Ken Bed's a short kick picked up by one of the upbacks. And the play comes out to the 37-yard line. A split kick with now 28 seconds remaining in the half. And Mel Bratton is the one who returned the ball. So Denver, with 3 timeouts remaining, tries to do something with 28 seconds left. Montana's 3 touchdown throws today ties in with Terry Bradshaw's Super Bowl touchdown pass record with 9. And this game is disintegrating rapidly. In the shotgun formation is Elway, a 3-man rush for San Francisco. Elway to pass. He runs with the ball, stops and throws long. Jackson is there. The ball is dropped by Eric Wright. Eric Wright stepped in front for an apparent interception, but dropped the ball inside the 20-yard line.
And Elway doesn't usually do that. If he's going to be wrong, he's usually wrong long. That time he didn't get it deep enough, and as a result, it should have been intercepted by Wright.
So Elway adds to his bad statistics here in the first half of the game. He is 5 out of 17. There have been 3 dropped, but he's 5 out of 17. Manning lines up again. This is his 3rd Super Bowl game. He takes the snap. He steps up. He throws. It's caught. And the play with Steve Sewell comes out to about the 49-yard line of the Broncos, who call a timeout. A 12-yard pickup and a first down as Sewell caught the ball. Chet Brooks tackled it.
Mentioned earlier in the game, Jack, that Elway does not have a lot of patience.
He feels more explosive, and he certainly looks more explosive. And they tell me he's going to get better. Here is Elway in the shotgun. Back to throw. 3-man rush. Steps up. Looks. He throws. Left sideline. Overthrew his man. Incomplete. They try to get the ball to Michael Young. That was a nasty throw by Elway, who is not having a good afternoon. 6 seconds left in the half.
I still think, Jack, that Elway is much, much better when he escapes from the pocket and disrupts the coverage and throws the ball downfield than he is when he's throwing from the pocket. And, of course, he hasn't had a great deal of time to throw the ball most of the afternoon. He has had on the last couple of plays because he's only getting a 3-man rush.
It looks like our halftime score is going to be 27-3 as it stands now. Elway on 2nd and 10. Takes the snap. This is a 4-man rush. He rolls right and looks to throw. Now he throws on the run, and this one is incomplete. And that's the end of the half. And it puts an exclamation point on the statistics compiled by John Elway. And San Francisco has a commanding lead at halftime of 27-3. More importantly, folks, Elway, the 8th to pick on him, is 6 out of 20. Let's pause for this word. I've seen something here today that I haven't seen before. We've played 30 minutes of football. There's been only 1 penalty. That was a holding call against San Francisco.
I think the trend in a big game like this one, Jack, has always been that the officials, and justifiably so, they let the guys play football, and that's the way it should be. It looks like in these games, why there very rarely are an overabundance of penalties like there is during the season.
So that prompts the question, why can't they do that in other games?
That's a good question. Exactly right. But they don't. And early in the season, it gets very severe, and the longer the season goes, I always get the impression, especially in the playoffs, that there aren't as many calls as there are during the regular season.
At this point, and with the Broncos shortly to kick it off to San Francisco, and with the score, the 49ers 27, the Broncos 3, let's pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS radio network.
Award-winning local news. CBS and sports. Only on News Talk 590 KLBJ AM Austin.
Here at the Super Bowl game today, the referee is Dick Jorgensen. He's working his first Super Bowl as a referee. The umpire is Hendy Hansich. The head linesman is Ernie Prance. Line judge Ron Bloom. The back judge is Al Jury. Jerry Austin, the side judge. The field judge is Don Orr. The replay official is Al Zapato. And the alternates, the referee Dick Hantak and the other official Rex Stewart. There's Al Zapato, our old friend from the American Football League, Hank.
Yeah, I just got a chance to look at him. We're all dressed up, nice shirt and tie. He looked kind of cute all in that costume this afternoon.
Well, I would guess that even the San Francisco 49er fans are hoping that the Denver Broncos will not be totally embarrassed in this affair.
Well, it's still hard for me to believe that they can play as poorly in the second half as they have in the first.
And the Broncos will kick it off with David Treadwell. Spencer Tillman and Terrence Flagler will be the deep men for the 49ers. You think the 49ers might just run some vanilla plays and punt the ball right back to the Broncos so that the fans will enjoy the game a little more?
The Denver wish they would do that.
Here is the kick, and it is taken inside the 10-yard line by Flagler. He comes back across the 20, but did not get to the 25. And San Francisco goes to work again on offense, and Darren Carrington was downfield to make the Bronco tackle. They mark it at the 49er 23-yard line.
And the 49ers really had terrific balance in the first half. 23 runs.
And 22 passes. Here comes Montana breaking the huddle. Number 16 gets under center. He sends his wide receiver to the right and starts off with a very tight formation with Craig in motion. Rathman in the backfield. Back to throw Montana. Montana throws upfield, and it is caught. Out to the 30-yard line and comes to the 31 to John Taylor. Taylor able to haul that one in. These 49ers line up and make it look like a run and then come up with a pass play, eh?
Yeah, it's like a run because the ball controlled kind of a passing game. They know they're getting a lot of zone coverages, which makes you travel very slowly. And patience is one of the things that Joe Montana has, one of the great qualities. He is very patient and will not take any chances unless he sees an opportunity for a big play.
John Taylor just caught his first pass for 8 yards. It's 2nd down and 2 from the 31-yard line. And here is the running play to Rathman. He started to the right, came back up the middle. He was stiff at about the 33-yard line, very close to a first down. And they stopped the clock as they mark the ball and perhaps have to measure.
That was a bad call. That was a wasted play, Jack, in that they had the bare defense alignment, everybody tight in the middle, and that's the worst place in the world to run against that defense, and that's where they chose to run.
The Broncos had just shifted before the snap of the ball, and the tackler was Scott Curtis, inside linebacker for the Broncos. It's 3rd and 1. Denver, sooner or later, is going to have to make some big plays on defense or hope for a San Francisco mistake. 3rd down and a yard, and a give to the upback, Rathman, and he is stopped as they try to go over the center position, and let's see what forward progress they give him. He ran into Ron Holmes and Greg Cragen. Cragen will be a Pro Bowler in Honolulu next Sunday. That was a 3rd down play, and San Francisco might not have picked up the first down.
Well, Bubba,
they are short by a few inches, Hank, and unless they want to gamble, they'll send the punting team out there on the field, and that's what's happening. This will be the 3rd kick for San Francisco.
Yeah, they can't afford to gamble with the lead like they have in the field position that they have now. They can't provide Denver with an opportunity to play in a short field, not this early in the game.
So that is a break for the Broncos as they stiffened on defense, and Barry Helton will punt the ball to Vance Johnson. Johnson stands inside his 30, and he could give his club a lift. There's the snap. It's a good one. There's the kick. Sewell almost blocked it. It's a high kick and a fair catch, and Johnson took it at the 24-yard line. And Denver starts at their 24. They haven't had very good field position all afternoon, so the 49ers will shift over to defense. That was a 44-yard punt by Helton, his best in postseason play. And now Boy does Elway. 6 out of 20 in the first half. He sends Johnson to the right, Mark Jackson to the left. He lines his tight end, Orson Mobley, up in the backfield for the moment. Sends Mobley in motion to the left. And Elway's going to pass on first down. He looks and throws. It's intercepted at the 30-yard line, right into the arms of Michael Walter. He couldn't believe it, and he's down inside the 30-yard line of the Broncos. That's a second turnover by Denver, and that was horrible. And a nasty throw by Elway, the interception by Michael Walter.
And here again, pass protection. He had a severe rush on his left side. The defensive end coming right into his face. He threw the ball. I don't think he was able to see the receiver.
He must not have, Hank.
No, I don't think he did. I couldn't tell who it was who was blitzing. It might have been the right linebacker, or it might have been the right end, but that's what happened.
And here is Roger Craig in motion. Haley put the pressure on that last play. Montana looking and throwing into the end zone. Touchdown! They did it again! One play, 6 points. Jerry Rice, his third of the day. Montana and Rice, 28 yards and another San Francisco score. And goodbye, Denver, Hank.
It looks like Elway has completely lost his confidence, Jack. I've never seen him so bewildered in a game in all the times I've seen him play. And we said going into the game, the only chance they had is for Elway to have a big, big day and be lucky along with it. He hasn't been able to do that so far.
That makes it 33-3, and Mike Cofer will try the extra point. Barry Helton, the punter, will hold the ball. The snap by Chuck Thomas is good, and the kick is good, and that makes it 34-3. Cofer missed an extra point try earlier. Go to Mike Cofer. For all you do, this bud's for you. It's 34-3. 12:48 remaining in the third quarter, and right after the Bronco defense had made a big stand and forced the 49ers to punt. The interception, one play, touchdown, and look at those Denver players. Their shoulders are sagging. Let's take time out. CBS Radio Sports coverage of Super Bowl 24 is sponsored by Isuzu, by Transamerica, by Bud Light, and by Hewlett-Packard Laser Jet Printers. The Denver Broncos have had 2 turnovers, and San Francisco has converted both into touchdowns. Mike Cofer will kick it off. Ken Bell and Darren Carrington are deep. There's the kick by Cofer. He thumps it, and it is taken by Carrington on the 4-yard line. Runs up the middle of the 15 to the 20, 25, 30-yard line. A good return. And the Broncos will start from their 30. Hank, 12:37 left in this third quarter. 34-3 the score. The odds would be astronomical for the Broncos to come back and win this game.
Yeah, it would be unbelievable if they could, but in the fourth quarter, they've had a lot of comebacks, and they were 3-0 against the 49ers during the 80s. The common thread in each game, they came from behind in the fourth quarter to win. It's hard to believe they could do that today.
Super Bowl record for Joe Montana, 10 touchdown passes, with 4 of them here today. Elway to pass. He swings it out on the flat to Humphrey. Humphrey goes to the 30, to the 35, and he is out of bounds at the 37-yard line. And a 7-yard pickup. Michael Walter chased him out of bounds.
He was a hot receiver on that play, meaning that instead of blocking the linebacker if he comes, he disregards the block and runs on the outside, and the quarterback throws him the ball with nobody blocking Haley, the linebacker. It worked perfectly for a big gain on the play.
John Elway trying to rally his troops. Tight end is on the right side, 2 tight ends, and Mobley splits to the right as Clarence Kay lines up to the right side. Here comes Humphrey running right, makes his cut, gets a first down across the 40, and he is out to the 43-yard line. And there are certain things at this point that the 49ers will give the Denver Broncos.
Yes, they're going to make them travel slowly, and they're going to give them they're just running straight-ahead plays and short passes. They will not give them anything deep. Whatever they get, they're going to have to earn and pay the price once they make the catch and get hit hard with the hope that maybe they'll get another fumble.
Another tackle by Michael Walter. Michael Carter is playing the nose position for San Francisco. Fagan, Burt up front, along with Daniel Stubbs. First down call for Elway at his own 43, straight back to throw. Rush is on, and he avoids the rush, but falls down. The ball comes loose. It is loose, and it still belongs to the Broncos, apparently. As the quarterback, Elway, was down, and he lost a yard on the play.
They had a stunt that time, Jack. The end, Pierce Holt, was lined up outside and rushed on the inside on the stunt. The nose man went to his right, Holt went to his left, and he popped wide open right in the face of the quarterback.
And Kevin Fagan was right on top of John Elway. He came in almost unmolested. That was a sack, the first of the day. And it is second down and 16 for the Broncos now. Elway with a pass, screens it over the middle, and it is caught by Steve Sewell. Sewell's out to the 47, way short of a first down. And a third down play confronts the Broncos. It was a good call, and they got some of those yards back.
Yes, they're giving a lot of pressure coming up the middle, and as a result, a middle screen is a very effective, very efficient play against that kind of a rush.
3rd and 6 now after the 10-yard pickup, and Elway needs 6 yards on 3rd down. Here's Holt made that last tackle on Elway. Here is Elway back to throw. He moves in the pocket and throws it up for grabs, and it's intercepted. Back from the 49ers with Brooks. Brooks is to midfield and beyond into Denver territory. That's the 3rd turnover for the Broncos as Brooks went out of bounds at the 37-yard line of the Broncos, and the route is on.
I'm going to tell you something, Jack. If this was a fight, they would have stopped it a long time ago.
Jeff Brooks came away with that fluttering football and returned to the Denver 37-yard line. And with the score 34-3, how this score is going to keep from being mounting for the rest of the day, I don't know. 2 tight end offense for the 49ers with Wesley Walls and Jamie Williams. That's the 3rd Bronco turnover. And here is Montana handing it off, and Craig running left, makes his cut and goes to the 35. Strong tackling, and he picks up 2 yards. Hank, I think only the goodness of the heart of George Seifert, the head coach of San Francisco, is going to keep this one from being a total of 50 points for San Francisco today.
It sure looks that way right now, the way things are going.
Rick Dennison made that last tackle at the 35-yard line, and we have 10 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Out comes Montana with Craig and Rathman. Rice to the left. He and Taylor are the wide receivers. Montana looking to throw, goes for 6 more. Taylor touchdown! Taylor touchdown! 37 yards, this one to John Taylor. And Montana is hopping around like a high school football player. He's enjoying this one so much. 35 yards.
We talked earlier, Jack, about the possibility of throwing a play-action pass for a big play on the safeties. They did that exactly. They pulled the guard and tackle one way, the other guard the other way. It totally confused the secondary, and he got the ball up on top to Taylor. A beautifully thrown ball, great protection, plenty of time to throw the ball, and he throws it right over the top, right down the middle to Taylor, who sucks it right up there. And it looks, you couldn't tell for sure who he licked on the play, whether it was Henderson or who it was, but he was wide open on the play.
Might have been Atwater, the safety man. Here's the extra point try by Kofer. It's good. The score is 41-3. And to John Taylor, for all you do, this bud's for you. We have 9:44 left in the 3rd quarter. The score is 41-3. San Francisco on top. This is terrible, and let's take time out. 6 touchdowns by the 49ers ties the Super Bowl record. Washington against Denver in Super Bowl 22. And Montana's 5 touchdown passes sets a new record for one game of the Super Bowl. And here's a kick by Koper. It goes down to the goal line to Carrington. Returns left to the 10, 15, 20 30-yard line, broke a tackle, came to the 30, 35, out to the 38, with a terrific return by Darren Carrington. And now let's see what Elway does. Things are getting worse for him by the moment. 9:32 left in the third quarter. Terrence Flagler made the tackle. Now the ball is marked at the 39 of the Broncos.
I think two things have to happen, Jack. He's got to run on his own when he's in the pocket, and I think he's got to move the pocket some to get away from the severe rush that he's getting from the San Francisco 49er defensive line.
Elway gets under center. Has Humphrey in the backfield from his own 39. His pass play, a quickie, and it's caught by the wide receiver Johnson for a first down. And he is really decked and dropped by Johnny Jackson, the rookie defensive back out of Houston, a 13-yard pickup. Johnson caught the ball, and it is put down at the Denver 48. First down at the San Francisco 48. And a first down. Motion by the tight end. Here's a delay to the running back. Humphrey breaks it inside the 40, 35, 30-yard line, 25, 20, 15, and down at the 13-yard line. Bobby Humphrey with a big run, and Don Griffin on the tackle.
He's still running very well, but he's still running with the ball in the right arm when he's going to the left side, Jack, and if he continues to do that, he's going to have another fumble situation come up.
That was good for 34 yards on the jaunt by Bobby Humphrey, the rookie out of Alabama. First down at the San Francisco 14-yard line. Broncos trailing 41-3, trying to get their first TD of the day. Elway with a pass play, straight back and looks and throws into the end zone, and it is interference in the end zone. The pass was incomplete, and Clarence Kay was the intended receiver, but they threw a flag against the linebacker, Bill Romanowski. And let's get this call. Interference in the end zone. One of the few penalty flags we have seen thrown today. It's interference against San Francisco.
Number 53, defense, first down on the 1-yard line.
So it's first and goal for the Broncos.
I tell you one thing, Romanowski got that back there very well with the tight end on the pattern to the outside. Obviously, he was pass interfering on the play, but he got back there in good shape except for the penalty.
Now the 49ers dig in to try to stop the touchdown surge of the Broncos. With Michael Carter playing the nose guard. Two tight end offense for the Broncos, and Humphrey in the backfield. Steve Sewell goes in motion. Here's a give to Humphrey. He runs into Elway and gets back only to the line of scrimmage. No gain. Bobby Humphrey, the rookie, ran right into Elway.
But what happened on the play, the penetration by the San Francisco 49er defensive line got across the line of scrimmage very quickly, but the exchange, as you mentioned, Jack, was very, very bad between Elway and the ball carrier.
Here's Holt, and Michael Carter put on the defensive pressure. It's second and goal from the 1-yard line for the Broncos. Now the I formation for the Broncos. And the give to Humphrey, tackle for a loss on the play at the 3-yard line. He ran into the arms of Charles Haley, and it'll be third and goal.
And the guy that got penetration initially was Jim Burt, number 64. He was terrific, and that's what you have to get in a goal line stand.
Clock running, 7:20 left in the third quarter. Jim Burt went to the point of attack and slowed things down. It's third and goal from the 3. Haley was the big man on that defensive play. And personnel changes for the 49ers. Elway lines up in the shotgun. He's given up on the run. He takes the ball in a quarterback draw. He is hit at the 5, gets away and scores a touchdown. A 3-yard scramble by Elway. He wanted the quarterback draw the ball. He avoided a tackle by Brooks. And he got into the end zone.
The 49ers are up there tight, expecting the possibility of an onside kick. I don't think they'll kick it, not the way they're playing defensively. They shouldn't, because I don't think they'd have much of a chance to recover with the alignment of the 49ers like it is on the kickoff return.
We'll watch Treadwell. And his boot is a line drive. It's inside the 5 and taken by Flagler from the 2 to the 10, 15-20, and knocked down hard at the 24 or 5-yard line. I wouldn't be surprised to see Steve Young in this game before too long at quarterback for the 49ers, but not this trip.
Now, he won't be in there for a while, Jack, I guarantee you. We've seen him in playoffs, and they didn't put him in until the last 2 minutes of the game. I don't know why he would change now. He'll probably do the same thing.
41-10, Montana and company lead. Taylor and Rice come to the left side. Brent Jones, the tight end, is on the right side. Flagler lines up in the backfield and goes in motion. Craig is a setback. Carries the ball to the right. Makes his cut upfield. High steps into the 30, 35. Gets a first down before he's stopped at the 37. Stopped by Fletcher and Dennis Smith. 12 yards for Craig, who now has 68 for the day.
Craig has incredible knee action. He brings his legs up, his knees up very high. We talked about it earlier. There's only one other back that I can remember having that style and that same kind of knee action, and that was a long time ago, the great 98, Tommy Harmon, one of the great backs that ever played the game.
First down at the 37-yard line of San Francisco. Rice is to the right, Taylor to the left. Tight end right side. That's Brent Jones. Here is the running play to Craig. Makes his cut up the middle, cuts back, and this time got 2. He started left, cut back, picked up 2 yards, tackled by Andre Townsend. And the 49ers keep the clock running.
As a rule, Jack, it's kind of tough to run outside, especially when you pull people against the Denver Broncos, because they're very quick. They're not overly large, but they're very quick and they react and pursue extremely well.
The Broncos, during the regular season, allowed only 99 rushing yards per game. That's not the case here today. 2nd and 8 for the 49ers. Craig in motion. Montana to throw. He throws over the middle. Hits Taylor. Taylor stretches out to the 45, making it 3rd and 2.
There again, the patience of Joe Montana. See, he just throws the ball down the field 4 or 5 yards. He just wants to move the chains, and he wants to take as much time off the clock.
And he's had the elation of the long touchdown passes, 20 yards to Rice, 28 yards to Rice, 38 yards to Rice, 35 to Taylor, but he'll take those short ones when they're there for him. It is 3rd down and 2. 2 tight ends, Wesley Walls and Jamie Williams. Motion by Craig. And the fake to Rathman. Montana rolls right, throws, it's caught for a first down. And it is Jamie Williams taking the ball down, the former Houston Oiler, and a first down just into Denver territory after the 6-yard pickup. The pressure was on. Montana scooted away with a roll to the right.
And that's what he likes to do. He likes to roll to his right. That's when he's most effective. Talking to Wade Phillips before the game, he indicated that that was one thing they were going to try to stop to prevent him from rolling to his right. But in spite of that, he still was able to do it so far this game.
4 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, and the clock running. Another first down call for Montana. The center is Sapolo. Motion by Craig. They show the blitz. Here's the running play, and Rathman runs right where the blitz was. Big yards inside the 40, 35, 30, down to the 29-yard line. The Broncos blitzed, and they got burned with a run.
And they ran that counter trap again with the right guard and the right tackle pulling into the weak side of the formation, a tremendously large hole. And, of course, Rathman goes in that area and makes the big play on the game, on the last run. I think any time that we see the tight end for the 49ers in the game, Jameson, why he's always very, very difficult, and in all probability, they're gonna run the ball in his direction.
First down at the Denver 30. Montana has completed 12 in a row. Flagler goes in motion. He hands it off to Craig. Craig is hit and knocked down, and he lost a yard. Roger Craig lost 1 yard. Montana has completed his last 12 passes. Scott Curtis made that tackle. Previously, Mark Munford made a tackle as these linebackers of the Broncos had been busy trying to help out.
Jamie Williams, the tight end, number 81, the Jack who they got from the Houston Oilers, doesn't catch many passes, but he's a terrifically outstanding blocker at the tight end position. And when he's playing there, you can look for them to run an awful lot.
He weighs 245 pounds. He's out of there now. Montana second down and 12. Craig in motion. Montana to throw. He throws. It's there. It's caught inside the 20-yard line by Rice. And another first down for San Francisco. They mark it at the Denver 19. Another first down. Let's pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS radio network.
More news, more weather, more sports, and traffic than any station in Austin. News Talk 590, KLBJ, AM, Austin.
Jerry Rice has caught 12 passes, 3 touchdowns. Montana's completed 13 in a row, has a first down call here. And he's back to throw again over the middle and dropped. He threw that one high. And high stepping it was Mike Wilson. He could have caught it, but he didn't. It was incomplete, and that stops the clock with 1:21 remaining in the third quarter. 41-10, San Francisco leads in this one. That stops the string. Montana had completed 13 in a row. Braxton was covering on the play.
You know, Jack, Mike Holmgren has done a terrifically outstanding job calling plays for the 49ers all year long. He's done a great job here this afternoon. And when I talked to him during the course of the week, he said he felt that they could do so many things. He had a list that was much, much too long.
This is the 9th play of this drive coming up. Brent Jones goes in motion. Montana back to throw. He looks and throws. It's short and it's caught. Craig down to the 10. Down near the 6-yard line. That's going to be first and goal. On the pass to Roger Craig. Good for 12 yards. And Montana cannot be stopped.
Well, the thing that's happening now, too, Jack, that the Denver Broncos earlier in this game got a pretty good pass rush against the 49ers. They're getting none whatsoever so far in the third quarter.
Less than a minute remaining in the third quarter. Montana is 22 out of 29, 296 yards, 5 touchdown passes, no interceptions, and no sacks. We are watching an amazing performance. First and goal at the 7 for the 49ers. Timeout called by Montana. He thought it was too quick to score again, and so he called timeout with 28 seconds remaining in the third quarter. The score 41-10, 49ers. Let's take timeout.
Now move up to Buick Regal and cash in on quality during Buick's Great American Quality.
Make you shake your head. They're so good, and Joe Montana is having a good time down here in the Superdome. He's 22 out of 29 with no mistakes, and he came into the game with playoff figures of 43 out of 54. And it is a first down and goal to go at the 7-yard line. Split backs for San Francisco. Motion by Craig, a give to Rathman to the 5, and he dives to the 4, and perhaps a bit more than that. He ran into Greg Cragen. Montana will let the clock run down, and 41-10 will be our end of 3-period score. And when we resume, the ball will be at the Denver 3, and it'll be second and goal for San Francisco. That's the end of the third quarter, 41-10 San Francisco. Let's pause for this word. CBS Radio Sports coverage of Super Bowl 24 is sponsored by the State Farm Insurance Company, by Buick and your Buick dealer, by Campbell's Chunky Soup, and by Pepto-Bismol. Well, Pepto-Bismol is something that Dan Reeves would like to have right now, and the trend continued. The time of possession, San Francisco has more than doubled it against the Broncos. 30 minutes and 41 seconds against 14 minutes and 19 seconds. San Francisco has second and goal at the Denver 3. They have Craig and Rathman in their lineup. Wallace and Tausch are on the front line. Here's a give to Rathman. Touchdown! He blew it right across the goal line over the right side behind the right guard.
And another San Francisco touchdown. A 3-yard run by Tom Rathman. That's his second touchdown of the day. That makes it 47-10. With 14:57 remaining in this football game, and this is getting nasty and almost unbearable and ridiculous and everything else you can say, Hank. What a hole there was there.
And what an unusual call, too, Jack, because it was a draw play on a short yardage situation. Unusual, but there was still a big hole for Rathman to go through and score the touchdown.
That's the most points scored in a Super Bowl game. Previous record was 46, and now the 49ers have 47. And attempting to add to it with Mike Coper's extra point try. There is the kick by Coper. He really thumped it. He missed one earlier in the game. He makes the score 48-10. And the 49ers will kick the ball back to Denver. 11 carries, 41 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Tom Rathman today. Jerry Rice has 3. Brent Jones has 1. And at this moment, Hank, we're going to say hello to Randy Cross and involve him in our broadcast here on CBS Radio.
Okay, Jack. It's been some games so far. I really thought that the Denver Broncos would play a better game than they've played so far.
I know you have it in your contract, and when the team gets ahead by more than 35 points, you're quitting, right?
Adios. Adios, Jack.
We have 14:57 left in the game, and we'll have the pleasure of the company of Randy Cross, the longtime offensive lineman with the San Francisco 49ers. And he has seen the San Francisco club roll before, but I wonder if they ever have perked in the fashion that we have seen them in postseason play in 1989 and 1990. Coper will kick it off. Ken Bell is going to be deep, along with Darren Carrington. And the Broncos, who have scored only 10, could use a lift in the form of a good kick return. Coper kicking off from our left to our right. He boots the ball, and it heads for Carrington. He took it on the 1. He's to the 10, 15, 20-yard line, and down at about the 23. Elway goes back on the field trying to improve on some very embarrassing figures. Bill Romanowski was downfield to make that tackle, and they mark the ball at the Denver 23-yard line. Randy Cross, you have been a big part of great San Francisco football, but has it ever been this good?
Never. I don't think there's been a 49er team better than this one right now. It's a moral victory for Denver if they hold them under 50.
It's 48-10 right now as Elway gets ready to take the snap. He has Jackson in motion. He fakes the run. He's back to pass, and he is sacked, knocked down for the second time today. This one at the 11-yard line by Daniel Stubbs. And Stubbs did not lay low when he took him down, did he?
Not at all. You know, the 49er defense, I think, off that last drive of Denver, went to the sideline and got a little fired up and almost semi-embarrassed that they let them score that last time, and they're out here trying to make a point.
Don't tell me they're angry about that.
They're a bunch of very, very proud guys, obviously.
Here comes Vance Johnson to the left, Mark Jackson to the right, along with Steve Sewell, and the shotgun formation from the 17 for Elway. There goes a flag. The pass is thrown, a middle screen, and it is caught and taken out to the 26-yard line by Sammy Winder. And apparently the 49ers were offside, and that's one of the few mistakes they've made today.
Exactly. Elway is a master at using that cadence to draw people offside.
How early on in this game, Randy Cross, did you see things start to crumble for the Denver Broncos? I kind of thought I saw it on the very first possession when they failed to make a first down.
Number 98, defense, 5-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage, still second down.
Well, Jack, I think you can look back to about the middle of the second quarter when the 49ers went up 20-3.
The number was 96.
When the 49ers went up 20-3, it really seemed to take a lot of the sting out of the Denver Broncos. They started looking up at the scoreboard, watching the clock, seeing how much time was left, and almost with a, uh-oh, here we go again attitude.
Second and 10 from their own 23, back to the original line of scrimmage for Elway. He's in the shotgun formation. The blitz is on. He is chased out of the pocket,
Gets away from a tackle, but then is knocked down and fumbles the ball. San Francisco picks it up, and the play goes down to the 2-yard line with Daniel Stubbs making it 1st and goal at the 1 after recovering the Elway fumble. That's a 16-yard return, the 4th turnover by Denver, and this game has disintegrated beyond recognition.
The best thing that could happen to John Elway right now at this point is for Dan Reeves to put Kubiak in at quarterback and let Elway save his ego a little bit more bruising, because right there they showed Elway something very similar to what they've been doing all day long. They showed 5 linemen, dropped one of the linemen off in the coverage, blitzed Don Griffin, the cornerback.
He made the first hit.
And also brought Pollard. Griffin came back and caused that fumble. Stubbs picks it up and does his imitation of a fullback, which wasn't too good of an imitation.
The only thing that play did was to help alleviate the traffic for after the game. 13:51 remaining, 48-10, San Francisco leading, and they have a 1st and goal at the Bronco 1. That penalty against San Francisco a moment ago was their 3rd, and the Broncos have not been penalized at all afternoon. It is still Montana. It's still Rathman and Craig. And motion by Rice, and a give to the running back, Craig. Touchdown! Touchdown, Roger Craig. And Randy Cross, I can't get over the continued enthusiasm on the part of these 49ers. If you give it to them, they'll take 100 points, and they have 54 right now.
You got to understand one thing, Jack. There is no love lost between the 49ers and the Broncos. You didn't hear much about that the last 2 weeks, but the 49ers really do not like the Denver Broncos, the organization, everything. They've been embarrassed on several occasions by the Broncos, and I wouldn't look for them to really try to slack up on them at all.
Only because of what has happened on the playing field with the Broncos beating them a few times. Is that the only reason?
Exactly. The snowball incident, things like that. They ran up some scores during the preseason games in earlier years.
Here's the extra point try. Another one by Cofer is good. I can't believe it. The score is 55-10 with 13:47 remaining in the game. And Roger Craig, for all you do, this bud's for you. 4 turnovers by Denver have resulted in 27 San Francisco points. Let's take time out.
Here's one.
Roger Craig's touchdown a moment ago, his first of the day, his 4th in Super Bowl play, ties a Super Bowl record. And with the help of the boats of Hank Stram and Randy Cross, today's chunky super lineman is Harris Barton, the right tackle of the 49ers on offense. The chunky super lineman, sponsored by Campbell's Chunky Soup, the satisfying stop that keeps you going. Having a good game is nothing unusual for Barton.
Not at all. He's probably the most conscientious player on that entire 49er team. Watches all kinds of film and worries about every little deed. He's worried right now, I guarantee you.
Here is Culper kicking the ball. And it goes inside the 5, and Carrington took it on the goal line for the Broncos. Returned to the 10, to the 15, 20-yard line. Cut back to his left and came out to the 26. The Denver 26-yard line. It's going to be Elway again, despite your suggestion, Randy, that they go to Gary Kubiak.
Well, it's definitely academic. It probably was 2 or 3 touchdowns ago. But John Elway maybe wants to stay in here and make a point that he can come back, he can get some completions. But a curious stat from the 49er defensive side, Elway's only completed 2 passes to his wide receivers today, and the 49er defense limited Henry Ellard and Flipper Anderson 2 weeks ago to 3 receptions.
First down for the Broncos at their own 27. 13:36 left in the game. They delay the ball to Bobby Humphrey. He gets out to the 30. Is hit, drops down at the 32. Elway's passing figures, 9 out of 25, only 94 yards, 2 interceptions, and he has been sacked a couple of times. Here's an update on Bud Bowl 2. At the end of the 3rd quarter, the score, they've got a better game there than we have here. Bud Light leads 34-30 over Budweiser. 55-10. Our score here. 2nd down and 4 for the Broncos. Motion by Vance Johnson. Elway back to throw. Chased out of the pocket. He throws a screen, and it is taken down by Breton. And Breton gets a first down beyond the 40-yard line. Out past the 45, and a first down for the Broncos. A 13-yard pickup as Melvin Breton was stopped by Matt Millett.
One of the real keys in stopping John Elway so far today has definitely been that 49er rush. John Elway has not had very much time to set up and actually throw the passes the way he wants to. He wants to step up into the ball, but there's been nowhere to step up. They've really got the pressure up front in his face.
And they cause that pressure in ordinary fashion. Nothing unique. That blitz we saw a moment ago was unusual.
Exactly.
12:48 left in the game. A first down call for Elway. Motion by the tight end Mobley, and a misstep from center, and Elway has to dive on the ball as the center, Keith Karts, wouldn't turn it loose.
Yeah, when you talk about that Denver front, one thing you have to understand, whether it's Charles Haley out there at outside linebacker or Daniel Stubbs, who tends to back him up on most cases, those are defensive linemen. People say they're only rushing 4 bodies, they're only playing a 3-4. For all intents and purposes, that is a 4-man line front.
It's a loss of a yard on the mishandled snap from center for the Broncos. So we're going to be 0-4 in Super Bowl play when the curtain comes down. Denver has only 71 rushing yards. In the shotgun formation, it's Elway. Back to throw. He is chased out of the pocket and sacked again. That's the 4th time he has been sacked, this time taken down inside the 35-yard line, and these 49ers, Randy Cross, really keep coming off the ball, and they keep fresh people in the lineup.
That's the key. That's why I think they are a better team than any of the 3 Super Bowl teams I played on. They have so much depth, they have so much intensity, and they are really a driven and possessed team. Don't be surprised after this game if you start hearing Ronnie Lott and some of the other 49ers start talking about that 5th Super Bowl.
It was Daniel Stubbs getting credit for that sack. He had 4.5 during the regular season, and he had 1 previously in postseason play. That makes it 3rd and 23 at the Denver 33. Elway stays on the ground, and a loss on the play as they hand the ball off to Kevin Fagan, and he dropped Bobby Humphrey in the backfield, and the Broncos will have to punt, and they can get nothing done in this game. They are totally being dominated by San Francisco. Randy Cross, you shouldn't be smiling like that. That's the smile of a killer.
Well, you know, in Bobby Humphrey's defense, he's accounted for over 100 yards. At Denver's 173 yards. So much for his bad rip.
Here's a punt by Iran. That was almost blocked. It gets a Denver bounce, picked up by John Taylor. He returns it and goes out of bounds at the San Francisco 38, and I'm watching to see if we get Steve Young into this game. 11-13. I'll be darned. It's still Montana. 11-13 left in the game. Let's take time out.
Shine the lights on.
San Francisco 49ers have 8 touchdowns thus far in this game.
That is just an amazing game so far for the San Francisco 49ers, and you got to look at how much more can they do. Joe Montana's still in there.
We'll be back in just a moment.
Special time, special friends. Make a date with Jay Calendar. Make a date with Jay Calendar.
Looking for a hot date at a cool place? Indulge yourself with lunch, dinner, or happy hour at Jay Calendar's, a one-of-a-kind kind of place where every day is a special day. Want to try a terrific Sunday brunch? Well then,
make a date with Jay Calendar.
Good home cooking, old-fashioned burgers, soup, salad, sandwiches, Tex-Mex, and great homemade desserts. Even the kids are going to love this place, so make your date with Jay Calendar's. Hey, ever had a chocolate taco? Jay Calendar's in Brody Oak Center, South Lamar, and Ben White.
Special time, special friends. Make a date with Jay Calendar. Make a date with Jay Calendar. Make a date with Jay Calendar.
I would guess that the coach is having difficulty getting Joe Montana out of this game.
Exactly, Jay. From now on, I think they're going to have to start referring to the Super Bowl record book as the 49er record book at the rate they're going. They seem to hold about 3/4 of them as of today.
Montana is still in there. Harry Sidney is in the backfield along with Terrence Flagler. Sherrard is a wide receiver. Here is a give to the running back. Flagler runs left, couldn't get outside. Is taken down from behind very close to the line of scrimmage by Rick Dennison. 11 minutes left in this game, and it can't end quickly enough for the Broncos. There goes Montana out of the game, and in comes Steve Young, and I'm sure that was the coach's doing, Randy.
That had to be. That's a little bit of a dramatic moment. You let your quarterback stay in for one play, and then you yank him out so everybody that's left in the stadium can applaud for him.
We'll give you Montana's final figures here. He is shaking hands along the sideline. What did he compile?
Oh, he was 22 of 29 for 296 yards and 5 touchdowns.
So Steve Young hands it off on his first snap, and a give to Flagler, and he's knocked down for another loss. He lost a yard on the first play, and Michael Brooks knocked him down for a longer loss, this time back to the 34. So it'll be 3rd and long for San Francisco, but their score is 55-10 over the Broncos. And we'll be down to the 10-minute mark before they snap the ball once more. Wide receiver goes to the left, and to the right it is Mike Wilson. On 3rd down and 14 for Steve Young. He rolls back, and the left-hander's going to put it up. He looks, and he throws, and out to the 45-yard line. It is incomplete. And so the 49ers will have to punt for one of the few times today Wesley Walls was the intended pass receiver. And, of course, everybody knows that San Francisco would tie the Pittsburgh Steelers as the most undefeated teams in the Super Bowl with 4 wins each. Won't be long, Randy Cross, and a lot of these 49ers will be going into the Hall of Fame as is happening to Pittsburgh.
Exactly. Looked about 8-10 years down the road, there'll be a flood of them with guys like Joe Montana and Ronnie Lott. Heck, Jerry Rice might still be playing then, but he'll still deserve to go in.
Barry Heldon will punt the ball, and Vance Johnson is deep for the Broncos. There's the kick by Heldon, a nice end-over-end punt, if you like those. And the ball bounces away from Johnson and rolls inside the 25 down to the 20 of the Broncos. That was a 46-yard punt. And the Broncos take over. And we'll see who their quarterback is going to be. Elway has had a tough day, but I imagine any quarterback would have against this San Francisco team. It's going to be Elway. Let's take time out.
Now
it's over for John Elway, and we'll give you Elway's figures here in a moment. 9:28 left in the game. First down at their own 20 for the Broncos. Up 3 in the backfield. Kubiak hands off, and he's knocked down, and he lost 2. Penetration and the tackle by Kevin Fagan. Stay tuned after the game. A special Super Bowl edition of NFL Talk. I have a chance to call in. We'll visit with some of the players from both teams, and also an opportunity for you to chat with Randy Cross. Final figures for Mr. Elway, not very impressive.
John had probably his worst day as a pro at probably the worst possible time he could have picked to do it. 10 of 26 for 108 yards and 2 interceptions, and could have had a few more.
10 out of 26. It's Kubiak on 2nd and 12. Straight back to throw. He is chased out of the pocket, almost sacked, and now he is knocked down at the 14-yard line, and the 5th sack. And Pete Kugler took care of this one for the 49ers.
Well, the Denver Broncos, the last couple of times they've had the ball, have tried to run some draw plays to take the sting off of it. But Pete Kugler, on this particular play, never really paid any attention to what they were going to do. He knew it was going to be a pass. And what a great way for Pete to end his career. He's retiring.
Randy, this is the final season for him. Randy, for some teams, you get a lopsided score, and players who've played every down, they say, well, let's just float a little bit. You get these different people in there, and they want to make their mark and look good on that film later.
That's right. This is their chance to show their families they played in the Super Bowl.
Kubiak on 3rd and 14. Steps up and throws, and it's caught beyond the 30-yard line, and that's a first down. And a good reception by Ricky Nattiel and a Denver Bronco. First down, a 28-yard pickup with 8 minutes left in the game, and the Broncos have it at their own 43.
That's the exact ingredient that's been missing from the Denver Bronco attack so far today, has been the presence of Ricky Nattiel and Vance Johnson and those wide receivers in the deep middle area of the zones.
And a first down call for Kubiak, Gary. I think I gave an old baseball player, Ted Kubiak, a mention a moment ago. 7:40 remaining in the game. Kubiak gets under center and back to throw. It's batted down, incomplete. There's another thing transpiring here. You get these defensive players in the offense, not just running the ball trying to kill the clock. They're trying to move the ball, and so the defenders say, okay, we still have a game, let's play.
That's right, and these defensive linemen for the 49ers at this point, really don't care about those draws. They've got their ears pinned back, and they are going after the quarterback. I can tell you as an offensive lineman, there is not a worse situation you can possibly get into than to get in against a good pass rushing team that knows you have to throw every down.
Charles Haley batted down that last pass, making it 2nd down and 10 for the Broncos, who trail 55 to 10. And Kubiak is back to throw. He throws short, and he threw it behind the teal, incomplete. 7:27 remaining in this game. Kubiak played at Texas A&M, and we saw him have a wonderful, wonderful Monday night game at Washington, and he won the game when he filled in for Elway.
He's been a great substitute through the years for Denver. I know he's killed several teams on many occasions. He's the kind of guy that loves to fire the ball, almost a little sidearm delivery, and he's got the accuracy of a John Elway. Doesn't quite have the power on the arm, but he's a real natural leader.
These 49ers have demolished Minnesota and the Rams, and they're doing it to the Broncos here. 3rd down and 10 for Denver. Kubiak takes the snap, steps up. He is rushed, and look out, hauled down from behind. That's the sack. This one by Daniel Stubbs, his 2nd of the game, and the 6th time that the Broncos have been sacked, and they'll have to punt. I can't imagine Denver playing a worse game, but we know how good they are, so therefore...
Well, I think Denver did not play... I don't think they played a terrible game. I think they were out of it so early, they got completely out of their game plan. John Elway's lack of success early hurt them.
Here's the punt to Taylor. Fields it at his 20. Returns out to the 30-yard line and down to the 31. Mike Horan punted the ball to John Taylor, a 38-yard kick, an 11-yard return. 6:58 left in the game. A lot of empty seats here in the Superdome. Let's pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS radio network.
Award-winning local news, CBS News and Sports. Only on News Talk 590 KLBJ AM Austin.
The quarterback, Steve Young, will commence from his own 32. Here's a 1st down call by the 49ers. In the running play, handing the ball off to Flagler. A flag goes down as Terrence Flagler moves across the 35-yard line and into the arms of Tim Lucas. And the penalty flag stops the clock with 6:52 remaining in Super Bowl 24. The last time more than 50 points were scored at a championship game was 63.
Number 66, offense, 10 yards, still 1st down.
A call against Terry Tausch, a 1963 American Football League championship game. San Diego beat Boston 51-10. They almost called your name on that holding call. It was a proper position, wasn't it?
I still wince every time I see those yellow flags go down there, and that's the kind of thing you're going to see late in a game like this. That is a blowout. The linemen start to get a little lazy, and they try to cut the corners. You start holding, you start tripping, you get caught.
And 1st and 20 for the 49ers. Gerard went in motion and a handoff to Flagler. He had to dive to get to the 24-yard line. Yeah, most people are more interested in watching the clock than anything else at the moment. Warren Powers made that tackle for the Broncos. You know, all the hedging back and forth with the points. 10 points, 11, 12, 13, 12 and a half. I think it closed at 11 and a half today in Las Vegas, Randy. Look at it, 55-10.
49ers don't read sports pages, I guess, and follow the point spread.
And now it is 2nd and 17 for Steve Young. He's back to throw. Left-hander throws it short, and it is caught by Harry Sidney. He is knocked down at about the 31-yard line, way short of a 1st down. 3rd down play coming up with Rick Dennison making that tackle. And the appalling thing is that these 49ers will be this good or better next year.
They really should. They've got some good young talent coming in. They'll fare well in the draft, one would think at least. And they're going to be a team, I think, from today on that is going to be committed to winning 3 in a row.
They were bent and intent on making it back-to-back championships in the Super Bowl. I wonder if they'll be in Tampa next year. Steve Young with a short drop and the pass. It's caught out to the 45, and that's a 1st down. Mike Sherrard caught that ball. There's a wide receiver who twice has broken his leg, and that was a 13-yard pickup, and you have to feel happy for Sherrard.
I know the people down in Dallas are glad to see him starting to get better. I talked to quite a few people this week down here in New Orleans. First thing they asked was, how is Mike Sherrard doing? The leg's healed really, really well, and he's going to be an integral part of that 49er offense next year with John Taylor and Jerry Rice.
And they still have Wilson.
Yeah.
Jerry Rice caught 3 touchdown passes here this afternoon. Young starts, Sidney in motion. Hands off to Flagler, running left, dives over the left guard spot, comes out to the 49 of San Francisco, and Andre Townsend made the tackle there. The other microphone is Randy Cross. How many years with San Francisco for you?
It was 13 years, and it feels like it about every morning I get up, except for Mondays. Mondays feel good. I'm not sore anymore.
But do you miss being at a game of this sort? I bet you do.
Oh, you got to miss that. You got to miss these kind of games. You don't miss training camp. You don't miss the regular season. But these are the games that it's all about.
Second down and 6 for the 49ers. 3:50 remaining in this contest. Steve Young, the quarterback. Hands the ball off, and rushing with it is Terrence Flagler. He runs for a first down inside the 45, down to the Denver 41, and it kind of looks as though Denver doesn't really care if they get the ball back or not.
I don't think so. At this point, the Denver defense is sort of at damage control. They would like not to give up another touchdown, but if there's enough time, they seem to be willing to give it up.
This broadcast, Joe Montana is the most valuable player in the Super Bowl game, just announced. He is the first 3-time winner, and he's getting the glad hand along the sideline from his teammates.
And he's the key ingredient to the San Francisco total offense so far in this game. 456 yards to just 169 for the Broncos.
Here's Young handing it off to Flagler. He bounces outside and knocked down after gaining a yard. He is driven out of bounds. This broadcast presented by authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this broadcast without the express written permission of the National Football League and CBS Radio is prohibited. Ball carrier did not go out of bounds, and so we still have the clock running down to 2:25 remaining in the game. In the fourth quarter of Bud Bowl 2, 3 seconds remaining. Bud Light leads Budweiser 34-30. We have a more lopsided score here. Second down and 9. Here's a give to Harry Sidney. He's good for a yard as he goes over the left side. And that will take us to the 2-minute mark in Super Bowl 24. We've reached the 2-minute warning, and if you've been munching away and your upset stomach has issued you a warning, reach for the soothing relief of Pepto-Bismol. 55-10, the 49ers lead the Broncos. Let's take time out.
Ode to the Football by Jimmy D. I pity the football, the way it's thrown around, rocketed through midair, then nose first into the ground. But I pity myself more than a football eating dust, cause I just ate 4 hot dogs and my gut is about to bust. But fear not, things won't stay so dismal, cause along with my buttocks I brought the relief of Pepto-Bismol.
Pepto-Bismol, the one that coats, is the only one you need. Use only as directed.
Budweiser wins the game 36-34. What do you think of that one?
They had a lot closer one there than we did. That's for positive.
We have a sad note we'd like to relay to you folks about broadcaster Bob Martin of KOA Radio in Denver, admitted to a local hospital in the early morning hours and underwent back and leg surgery because of the bone cancer which has plagued him the last couple of years. Here is Steve Young running out of the pocket, stopping, looking, avoids a tackle. He is still on the dead run way back in midfield. He gets a block that allows him to escape. He returns to the 40. He gets a first down and is out of bounds, breathless, at the 27-yard line of the Denver Broncos.
Steve Young doesn't have the cool, calculated style of a Joe Montana, but he is very, very exciting to watch. He's got wide receiver, running back type speed, and he never hesitates to pull that ball down.
And he ran for 11 yards and a first down. So our best wishes to Bob Martin, and we hope that his recovery is complete and quick. Fine broadcaster for the Broncos. You've met him, Randy?
Oh, yes, definitely. Our best go to him and his family.
We have 1:44 left in the game. A couple more runs like that, and Steve Young could run out the clock. He was on the move. Total offense, San Francisco has 467 yards. And now here's Young just downing the ball after taking the snap to keep the clock running. And, of course, the Broncos don't want to interfere with that process.
Not at all. You know, you've got to give a lot of credit here today to offensive line coach Bob McKittrick and that entire offensive line. Joe Montana was sacked only one time in all 3 playoff games. They did a great job blocking for the run. Great pass protection. You don't hear much about those offensive linemen. Only Guy McIntyre is going to the Pro Bowl, but they did a fabulous job. Look at the time of possession, 37.5 minutes for San Francisco. That's unbelievable. You can't let a team like the 49ers have the ball for that long.
Montana had a slow start in this game. He was 5 out of 10, but in the 3 playoff games, he ends up with 65 completions and 83 tries, and no interceptions and no sacks.
What happened on the other 18 passes?
And a couple of those were dropped. Now, once again, Steve Young drops to his knee, and the whistle sounds, stopping the play, but the clock continues. We're down to 40 seconds, and we have a 3rd down play coming up. One more snap of the ball, and incredibly, 55-10 will be the final score of this one, and back-to-back titles for the 49ers. It's hard to do, but they did it. And another snap of the ball, and this game is over. And a salute to the San Francisco 49ers, their 4th Super Bowl victory. And the record books and the history books will be something for these 49 players and their coaches to survey in the years ahead.
Definitely, Jack. And I think to say that they made it look easy almost belittles the accomplishments that they really had today. They came out here and completely dismantled, I thought, a very, very good Denver Broncos team.
They beat Minnesota, the Rams, and the Broncos easily. 55-10, the final today. Let's pause for this word.
Why can't these guys be friends? He's a jerk. Just sit on. Hardball and Gomez, 2 bounty hunters after the same guy. One of us has to go. You. Grand Slam, a new action comedy about a couple of... How would you like a mouth where your nose used to be? You're crazy. Friends. Grand Slam premieres tonight right after the Super Bowl on CBS.
These days, it's not always easy to see where you're going financially. That's why the Transamerica Life Companies created a family of life insurance and pension products designed to take the guesswork out of financial planning by offering fixed guarantees and other innovative options. So if you want to make your financial outlook a little clearer, talk to your Transamerica Life agent. No one can predict the future, but at Transamerica, they will do their best to help you plan for it. Transamerica, the power of the pyramid, is working for you.
When asked in a nationwide test which regular ground coffee they preferred, Maxwell House or Folgers, more people responded they preferred Maxwell House coffee, with the richness that comes from coffee that's blended with Colombian beans. Because better beans make better coffee. Even Folgers drinkers chose Maxwell House. For rich coffee, America prefers Maxwell House.
55-10, the final score as the 49ers win back-to-back Super Bowl games. Joe Montana, 22 out of 29, 5 touchdown passes, 3 of them to Jerry Rice, 1 to Taylor, and 1 to Brent Jones, his tight end. John Elway, 10 out of 26, only 108 yards. He threw 2 interceptions, and it's not difficult to anticipate the things that are going to be said and written about this one. Our game stats and scoring summary are sponsored by Hewlett-Packard. For superior text and graphics at an affordable price, Hewlett-Packard's LaserJet 2P printer is the answer. A thought that strikes me is a look back at the last Super Bowl game when Cincinnati came very close to upsetting San Francisco. It helps you to realize now, with what we have seen here today and in the previous playoff games by the 49ers, how well the Cincinnati Bengals played against this devastating San Francisco club, which certainly could have scored more points than the 455 points they compiled here today. Total offense, San Francisco 463 yards, Denver 169. And San Francisco played almost perfect football. Rice caught 7, 3 touchdowns. Taylor caught 3. And Craig rushed 20 times for 70 yards. Rathman looked like he was self-propelled. Here today, the way